Okay, well, we're a couple of minutes early, I think, but I think we're live. I think everything should be working. I see audio over here in my monitor screen. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. If you could let me know, that'd be amazing. It looks like we've got Mr. Grey Wolf, possibly in both Twitch and YouTube. So super appreciate that. Hi, how you been? Thought we would just start things by chatting for a couple of minutes. Hopefully, again, you guys can hear me. Looks and sounds good. That's awesome. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Grey Wolf, for confirming that. Do appreciate it. I was hoping to be doing more live streaming, and apparently the universe just doesn't want me to live stream as much as I'd like to. I wanted to do something last Monday, but couldn't, and like just everything lately with trying to get some stuff done has been chaotic. So I apologize for that. Was hoping to have done more live streaming up over the last few weeks, but yeah, no, just life getting in the way. So last Monday, when I wanted to live stream, we had been snowed in for a couple of days due to a few inches of snow and just super cold weather for the area. It was just safer to not go anywhere. So when we were finally able to go somewhere Monday, we had a bunch of stuff to get caught up on, and I just didn't have enough of me to go around on Monday, so I wasn't able to live stream, and that kind of bummed me out. I was really hoping to be able to do that, but here we are. Thank you to everybody who has joined. I definitely appreciate you being here. Like I said, we've got Mr. Grey Wolf. We've got Practical IT with Jeremy. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. He's also got a YouTube channel that you should check out if you haven't already. After my recent fiasco with my Proxmox backup server fiasco that I made a video on last week, I actually used one of Jeremy's videos to help me get notifications set up via Godify, so that every morning about 1 o'clock I start getting notifications that backups are either complete or they're not, and that's been nice. It's a lot of information, but it's been really nice to get that information, just so I know that things are actually happening and I don't have to worry about it. So if you haven't checked out Practical IT with Jeremy, you should. He does a great job of explaining things in a much more cohesive, less ranty, rambly way than I do. So yeah. We also got Dorkstick. Thanks for joining. Borg Swarm is also here. Glad to have you guys here as well. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with me for a little bit today. Definitely appreciate you being here. Borg Swarm says, I really wish Godify had an iOS app. That's crazy that they don't. Like I get notifications like all day long from different areas of my home lab via Godify, but yeah, I've got an S22. So I've been on Android for years. I had an iPhone 3G and an iPhone 4, I think, and that was it. I had a first generation iPad that I bought years later to do some testing with when I was doing web development. And I've got an iPhone X or 10 or whatever as my teleprompter, but that's about all I've got there. So anyway, yeah. So I'm honestly surprised that Godify doesn't have an iOS app. That's Godify iOS. There's Knock. There's iGodify. Can't stay just popping in. Well, thanks for stopping in by for a minute, Jeremy. Definitely appreciate it. As far as Godify, let's do that. Audio still looks good. There's iGodify. I don't know if it's from the actual developer or not, but it appears that there is an option for Godify on iOS. I don't know if it's the official version or not. offers in-app purchases. That's weird. Anyway, I'm sure you probably already knew about that, but that was just the first result. Wasn't I go to if I receive notification, doesn't actually alert me anyway. Oh, that there was a notification received. Okay, well there you go. Delivery incomplete. So maybe that was the issue. So anyway, Collins is here. Thank you, dude, for stopping by, both both in YouTube and Twitch. Definitely appreciate that. And Dork Stick says audio is great. Glad to hear that. I apologize if you can hear the space heater behind me. It's actually up to 70 degrees. I can probably turn this down a little bit. There. So it shouldn't come on as often, but it's there. So I apologize. I know I received a comment last week or the week before about somebody being upset that I would dare to have a heater in my garage repurposed studio recording space and need it to be above 45 degrees. So again, it's there. I don't know what to tell you other than that. And it should be turning itself off just any minute now, I would hope. But it doesn't. Now in about 45 seconds, it'll turn off and it should be fine in here. It's 70 degrees. So yeah, we should be fine. Colin says you're supposed to suffer for our enjoyment. Yeah, some people genuinely believe that. There are still, even though YouTube is almost 20 years old, I think it's 18 years old or something now. People are still convinced that nobody should ever make any money from creating content, and how dare we consider making this a livelihood? Why don't we go get a real job? So yeah, it blows me away, the mentality that some people have when it comes to how they view people on the other side of the camera from where they are. They're super happy to consume that content, but we as the creator are supposed to be, robots, stoic, never show emotion, never have an opinion, unless it matches with their opinion, of course, and then it's fine to have an opinion. But how dare creators have feelings and emotions and be actual people? So anyway, Borgswarm says just add more servers, plenty of heat that way. Yeah. I'm only generating about 450 watts of heat out of that rack. Oops. Oh, thought I turned that down. Collins was just tagging everybody in Discord to come join the fun. So I appreciate that very, very much. Yeah. So, as you saw in the thumbnail, and well, depending on where you are, if you're on YouTube, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to talk about YeetFile today in the thing here. Man, my brain is not braining. I've been having this issue all morning. Yeah. So if you saw my screen for the last several minutes, you'll know that we're going to talk about YeetFile today. YeetFile is it's an encrypted file sharing and file/password vault service that is created by the same developer or developers as Whoogle. It popped up recently. I think Dankster was the one that originally brought it to my attention Thursday, and then Ethan Shawley's newsletter that came out Friday also mentioned it, and I've been taking a look at it a little bit this morning. And yeah, so we're going to dig through it a little bit today, take a look at it, chat as we go along the way, that sort of thing, like we do here on the streams. But just checking over here, amateur numbers for the 450 watts. I agree, but I like keeping my power bill as low as I can whenever possible. So it is what it is. Spacedorg is here. Glad to have you here, man. Luca says currently using Nextcloud and Vault Warden. Yeah, I also use Vault Warden. I can't imagine that this that YeetFile would actually replace my password manager for anything. But I can absolutely see it being useful for certain things so far. And maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But anyway, I guess since we've got some people here, looks like we've got a couple of people watching over on Twitch, and we've got about 29, 30 people over on YouTube. Thank you guys very much for that. In fact, just as a heads up to everybody, this is my 8th live stream in the last 30 days over on Twitch, which means that in the next day or two I should actually start getting, or I should get affiliate status over on Twitch, which should help a little bit over there with the ability to generate a little bit of income over there. So I guess enjoy the ad-free experience on Twitch for today. It'll probably be the last one. I think once I hit affiliate status, I can I can then start posting ads and start receiving bits and that sort of thing if you guys want to go that route. But just know that this will probably be the last live stream on Twitch with 0 ads. And I don't mean to be a jerk by adding ads. But again, I'm trying to increase my revenue as well. So yeah, I guess that's what's going on there. Mr. Grey Wolf says affiliate hype. Yep, gotta do that a little bit over there, just so that people are aware. There will be ads on both Twitch and YouTube after today's live stream. Again, I got a family to take care of and bills to pay. So you guys, most of you guys get it, and I appreciate you for that. So I guess with that said, let's jump over and take a look at YeetFile. Well, I guess we'll start here. And we'll click that button so you guys can see what I mean when I say we're going to start here. Hopefully I can be better about that. I'll push this a little closer into my line of vision there. So this is YeetFile, as we mentioned. Also, as we mentioned, this is from the same developer as Whoogle and some other stuff that we'll talk about a little bit later as well. But this is the dashboard. This is the not signed in dashboard. This is public. That's an interesting idea. Sorry, we'll come back. Anyway, so as a person who is not logged in, as just a standard user just coming here for the first time, the only thing that you're allowed to do is upload text. So if we were to do lipsum like this, right? We'll just grab a couple of paragraphs there. Okay, so we're gonna call that 1,300 characters there. You can then, of course, set how many downloads are available for that. Basically, how many times can it be seen? You should. Expiration must be this. Interesting. So I tell you what, we'll just set it for like 5 for the number of downloads that can be set. Apparently, if you set the downloads to 0, you have to set an expiration on it, which can be minutes, hours, or days. So let's just set it for like 30 minutes with 0 downloads. Setting it to 0 should, in theory, allow it to be downloaded an unlimited amount of times. You can protect it with a password if you want to do that. You can add a password and confirm. You can show the password if you want to do that. But let's just click upload. And then we're going to go ahead and just open that in a new incognito window. Show text count or content. There it is. So there it is. Just that simple text, and there is the URL up there. Very, very straightforward. It does exactly what it says on the tin, as they say over there across the pond. It does appear that once that it has been created, it cannot be edited. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And that's basically all you can do if you're not logged in. So again, this is just the standard. This is the hosted version of this. If we click over here on login, you can enter an email or an account ID and a password. Set specific vault passwords. Not sure what that's for. We'll come back to that, I guess. Or, of course, you can click on forgot password. And it says enter the email address associated with your YeetFile account. If you've set a password hint, it will be emailed to you. So if you set a password hint, that's weird. Guess we'll get into that later. Or of course we can sign up. Interesting. Okay. Email it. So you can use an email address or you can use an account ID only. So recommended. Read more here. Okay, so I'm actually glad that I can see both of these now. So by default, I think it's ID or account ID only. And by signing up with an account number only, you will be unable to recover your password if you ever lose your account number or your password. So this would be good for burner accounts, I guess. If you didn't want to have it associated with an email address, you could set this up as a burner account with an account ID only. Or you can put in an email address, password, confirm your password, and put in a hint. Now, something to bring up with this, right? The idea behind this is that once you're signed in, you can upload and share files. You can upload files to your vault, or you can share files to your vault. Let me rephrase that again. Once you've created an account, you have a password vault and a file vault where you can upload those things. You can also, while you're there, sign or share images and text and that sort of thing, images, files, whatever. The thing to keep in mind with this is the same thing I've said about other services as well. And that is, in fact, let me see if I can, let me come over to here. Let me open this up. Somebody over on Reddit, sorry, I just wanted to bring this up. Over here. Yeah, so if you make this publicly available so that anybody can sign up, this line right here, which says, let me zoom that in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. As it is, anyone using it in a public-facing manner is wide open to abuse for CSAM or spam and that sort of thing. Now, they did also mention brute forcing what was supposed to be private data, but it looks like there is some hard-coded protection against password brute forcing. So it's this line right here that I really wanted to touch on. It's this, anything that's public-facing, especially with file sharing, image sharing, text sharing, any of that kind of stuff is going to open you up to possibly allow for bad actors to upload content that if the government found on your device, you might get in trouble for. So just be aware that that may be a thing. If you're going to make this public, be very, very careful about how you make it public. So I just wanted to bring that up just so that we're kind of all on the same page. Anytime you make something public facing like that, you're going to face the possibility that somebody could abuse your system. And if you don't have good security measures in place, people will take advantage of that. Let's see. Jan says, go for it. Maybe you can use your monitor in the background for ads or sponsors. Maybe. That's an interesting idea. Sorry, just reading over from the text here. The problem is this is just ever so slightly out of focus, and even that kind of makes me feel bad. I need to add a less shallow depth of field, I think, so that people can see their names more easily there. But in order to do that, I got to adjust my camera, and I just haven't had the wherewithal over the last few days to do anything about that. So. Let's see. Peter, glad to have you here, man. Says, greetings from a very chilly Montreal, Canada, where it feels like negative 20 C. That is bonkers. How does this differ from enclosure? It's honestly, it's been a while. I want to make sure that I don't. No, Docker. Oh, enclosed. Sorry, enclosed. So let's see. Introduction. File attachments. I mean, it's very much the same thing. It appears. So enclosed, end-to-end encryption, file attachments, zero knowledge, doesn't have any access to the content of your notes, making it impossible for anyone else to decrypt them. There's encryption on this as well. Configurable security. Users can set a password, define an expiration period, and choose to have the note self-destruct after being read. Minimalistic UI. We've got support for multiple languages, authentication, dark mode, responsive design. I mean, it's all very, very similar stuff, just from a different developer. I guess is kind of the difference there. Quarantine, of course, is the developer behind Enclosed, as well as IT Tools, which we've taken a look at both of those. So again, it appears that that YeetFile is going to be a very similar tool as Enclosed, just from a different developer. And I think it's great that we've got the ability to have options, not necessarily competition, but options. I think at this point, Enclosed is definitely farther along in its development. In fact, we come over to here and we take a look. This is Enclosed's GitHub page. And if we take a look, their version 1.14.0 was released December 19th. So further along in the versioning, which actually brings up something interesting there. If we take a look at this, my dumb face is in the way. We'll come over to here. And right here we can see they're on version 0.0.3. So very, very early development. The reason I want to bring that up, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that not everything is going to work. Not everything is going to be finished. Not everything is going to be polished. This is just showing what somebody is working on early on in the development cycle, so that the developer can get some recognition for a new project. Again, if we come over here to Ben Busby's profile page, Whoogle is in there. And again, YeetFile, Farside, which I'm not familiar with. I probably should be. A smart redirect gateway for various front-end services. Interesting. Redirecting provides links that automatically redirect to working instances of privacy-oriented alternative front-ends, such as Knitter. It allows users to have more reliable. Of course, I'm stupid. So if we come over to here and we take a look at YeetFile, version 0.0.3. I apologize, guys. I'm trying. I'm on my second cup of coffee right now. My brain's just not working with me today. So it is still very early in development. There's still a lot of things that won't work. There's still things that will be developed. There will be things that will be added. Yeah, that's kind of there. So Enclosed, Enclosed and this are going to be very similar in what they do. Maybe there's a different approach to how it's being done, that sort of thing. But again, it's from a developer that we've talked about here on the channel before. That Ben Busby, again, is the developer behind Whoogle. I know that they recently ran into a bit of a situation recently where, whereas as of January 16th, Google seemingly no longer supports performing search queries without JavaScript enabled. This is a fundamental part of how Whoogle works. Whoogle requests a JavaScript-free search result and then filters out garbage from the results page and proxies all external content for the user. This is possibly a breaking change that would mean the end for Whoogle, but they're going to keep working on it. I remember reading that they may have found a workaround for it after that, but I haven't really looked at it since then. I don't know. This is just more of what we saw over there. So anyway, that's why we're looking at it, is because YeetFile is from the same developer as Whoogle, and I always like to recognize developers when they come out with something new. Alexi is here. Thank you so much for joining, stopping by, hanging out. Whatever word you want to throw at that, glad to have you here. Always like seeing familiar faces. Peter says, I said enclosure, didn't I? Yeah, it's fine. I Googled enclosure, and it was like, you meant this, right? Like, so, nope. Oh, stop. Damned phone. I said the assistant name, and my phone started freaking out there. So anyway, I may have been the one who introduced you to Enclosed. It's a great service. Like, I really dig it. But yeah, it's just another option that's out there for sharing text and passwords and files and that sort of thing. Very low. All right. So, yeah. So I'm actually glad you brought that up because they are very similar. In fact, there's others that I think we've taken a look at as well. Peter says, have an awesome Saturday. Always appreciate your time and content. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you chatting for a few minutes if you're out the door. I got a hair right there. I apologize. It's so itchy. So I guess with that said, let's oh, right. So we were talking about this, right, just a minute ago, that with regards to the security and safety online for hosting a service like this. And it was actually addressed over here as well. Let's scroll in a little bit here. Fox MD says, I know it's early days, but I don't see this information in the doc site or easily discoverable in the repo. As a self-host or admin of YeetFile, what kind of functionality do I have available for administration of accounts and content? Obviously, I can't see the actual content being uploaded, but these things come to mind with general safety, maintenance, etc. There's no UI for admin tools. Is everything done through the CLI? What is the name of the CLI? Is it provided as part of the container? How do I access it? Then editing, saying I dug into the code. CLI is not included in the Docker image. It is for end user offering the same functionality as the web UI, no admin functionality. So that's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully, again, this is version 003, right? This is still very early. It's entirely possible that admin functionality may be added later. I would be curious if they end up going with that, if they add an admin panel to manage users and that sort of thing. I have to imagine what kind of information would be available to the admin as far as what files they can see and that sort of thing for the sake of privacy for the user. So many questions about how that might work. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's come back over to here. Says, can I see account ID emails as a list? Is there a way to deactivate, delete accounts? What details available about the individual content uploads? Can I delete, deactivate individual uploads? Can I identify an upload for a specific user? Does the app or Docker container output any logs when auth-related actions fail? So those were all really great questions brought up by FoxMD, both over on Reddit and then brought over here as an issue or discussion over here on the GitHub repository, which I think is great. Oops, there we go. It says right now, the administration of accounts and content isn't available through a UI. You basically need to interact with the database for these things like deleting accounts or deleting content related to an account. These are all situations where you need to manually edit, view the database. I'm interested in making an admin UI for these sorts of actions and we'll prioritize that for the next feature. Okay, that's awesome. I'm really, really glad to see that. I'm actually really glad. Oh, and he actually goes on to say, for the uploads to the file vault instance, admins are only able to see general meta information for files that a user has uploaded. This includes an encrypted file name. Admins can't decrypt the size of the file and when it was uploaded. This information should be good enough to handle the situation you mentioned where a user forgets their password, wants to delete a 5 gig file. Although in that case, it might just be better to delete the entire account if they no longer have any way of recovering the password. So, edit. File uploads to YeetFile send are not tied to user account IDs, so would not be a candidate for managing from an admin UI. I assume this is not a huge deal, though, given the ephemeral nature of the uploads to send. Interesting. Auth actions don't explicitly log failures. They just return the error for the client. I'll add some logging for these scenarios. That said, there is middleware for the auth endpoints that limits the number of times both sign up and login can be performed from a single IP. Right now, it's hard-coded to a maximum of 6 attempts in 30 seconds, which gets reset if another attempt happens during the cooldown. It would probably be better to allow that to be configured when the environment variables, though, so I'll make a note of that too. I appreciate the questions. It's quite helpful. to know what's important to others so that I can start adding features while YeetFile is still in a version 0 state. I think those are all really great answers. Actually really, really happy with that. I'll actually post this over here like that. So let's see what we've got over here. Let's do that. Let's see. Alexia says, I'm right now playing around with DeepSeek on my mini PC, but without the GPU. You'll suffer with much RAM and CPU cores with the 1.5B model. I believe that. I don't know. I actually haven't messed with any of the DeepSeek stuff yet. I'm a little apprehensive, if I'm completely honest. I'm just a little apprehensive about it for the time being. But that may change. We'll see what happens. I will probably look at it at some point. I've got hardware I could throw it on. In fact, now that I think about it, I recently went through some changes in my HL15 that's back here. I had three 4 terabyte drives, 4 8 terabyte drives, and I had two just small SATA drives in there. So I basically took all of that out and replaced it with 2 10 terabyte drives. Everything, all of my stuff fits on 10 terabytes running ZFS with lots and lots of room left over. So I took the 8 terabyte drives that were in there and put it in my Zima Blade Pro and got that set up with Zima OS. And it's just kind of sitting there doing nothing for right now. So I very well may throw DeepSeek on there just to check it out and see how it goes. Because I'm definitely curious about some of the stuff that I've seen about DeepSeek, in that people using the DeepSeek official website, asking things about certain incidents that happened in that country, and it started to write the answer, and then once the answer was up, it got removed. Like, it almost seemed like somebody saw it in real time and moderated that response for some reason. Like, it started giving a response to the guy in front of the tank scenario, and once it had printed the answer of what that was, it's like, oh, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that. Let's talk about something else instead, which I thought was kind of interesting. So there's still a lot of censorship if you use the official site over there versus hosting your own. So I'm definitely curious about hosting your own version of DeepSeek. Dude, Collins, you rock. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That's amazing. Alexi says, if you're running DeepSeek locally, then you're not pinging China. That's good. I would actually be really concerned if that was the case. Anytime you're self-hosting something and it pings back for anything other than like statistical data, I have a problem with that. And I also think you should be able to opt out of pinging for statistical data. Wow, I've just completely drawn a blank. Portainer, geez, I knew it started with a P. Portainer lets you opt out of statistical data, so I'm really glad that I'm really glad that they do that. I wish more companies did that. I'm still curious about what will happen with the firewall that we took a look at a couple of months ago. Again, I really liked the functionality of the firewall. I thought it was great. But I didn't like that it pinged home. I know the last time I heard they were working on something, but I hope they keep working on something so that we can use it without having to ping back to a server in a country where we don't have any access to the data or how the data is controlled. So, again, good to know. Thank you, Alexia, for clarifying that. I definitely appreciate more insight into that. So let's jump back over here. Again, I'm really happy with Ben's response to this question. I think it was well thought out. It was a good answer. Also, great questions. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that Ben seems to be open to taking suggestions, especially this early on, so that things can be adjusted and built to suit community needs early on. It's a difficult thing to have a fully built solution and then find out, a year into the project, oh, it'd be really nice if we could go back and do this too. I actually ran into this a while back. I guess I'll just bring my face back up and we'll chat. LinkStack I've actually got a LinkStack instance up and running, and I have for a long time. The thing about it was that I had it public facing so that anybody could sign up for an account. I had terms and conditions of like, hey, no gambling, no adult content, no illicit content, no drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco, whatever, right? I don't know if it was quite that refined, but it was definitely no adult sites and no gambling were explicitly listed in the, like the don't do these things section of the website. And I went in to just look through the site one day, and I had like thousands and thousands and thousands of spam accounts that were promoting adult sites and gambling adult sites and adult gambling sites. Like it was everything I said, please don't do this. It was all Asia related stuff. It is what it is. That kind of stuff's super popular over there, so it's whatever. And I if I wanted to, I had two options, right? I could go into the database and I could come up with a query that would delete all of the accounts, but I didn't want to do I'm still not comfortable writing queries to manage databases. It's just never been my strong suit. So I went through when I was in the other end of the house. I've got like a stacked monitor setup in there. So like in the top screen, I had a video playing, just a YouTube video of whatever I was watching that day. And in the bottom screen, I had my dashboard where I was just clicking delete and hitting my spacebar, clicking delete and hitting my spacebar to confirm over and over and over for like a while, to go through and delete all of the accounts that weren't mine. And then first I disabled user registration. Then I went through and deleted everything. And I felt bad. Because there were a few dozen accounts in there that weren't spam. They were legit accounts, but I didn't feel like dealing with it. So I just trashed all of the accounts. Of course my camera is going to do that right now. Maybe. There we go. That was weird. I don't know if I need to get a new camera or if it's a cable that's bad, but I'm using a Panasonic G7 and it's got a micro HDMI cable and I hate that. I really, really hate that it uses a micro HDMI cable. Because they're so fragile that even just bumping the table sometimes causes that issue. So anyway, I'm all over the place today. I know that. So anyway, to wrap up the camera thing before we go back to the other thing, see, it did it again. I just bumped it. That's going to frustrate me. So I don't know if I need to replace the cable. I don't know if I need to replace the camera. I've been looking at doing an Elgato setup with a prompter and a Facecam Mark II. I think would be kind of the ideal thing that I might switch over to, but that's like $500 that I don't want to spend right now. I could probably make it work, but I can't bring myself to drop that kind of money for a setup like that. It's a lot of money for me still. So I apologize. I will try to not bump the table, which the other thing that frustrates me is that, this monitor that I'm looking at, that the monitor that's got this on it is mounted to the wall. It's not mounted to my desk. And I did that so that if I bumped the table, if I bumped the desk, whatever, that it wouldn't shake my camera. There's an inch and a half between the wall and the desk. And somehow still, if I bump the desk, my camera shakes. I'm so confused. So I may have to do something different soon. I'll have to check out some different options as far as what's available to me. But anyway, Yeah, so going back to what got us, or what I was talking about before that, I had a link. I've still got a link stack instance up, and I deleted thousands of accounts one at a time because I didn't want to go through and delete everything via a query in a database command. Oh my God! Okay, I didn't even bump the table that time. That's stupid. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we're gonna do this? Are we kidding me? Maybe. Recently saw the webcam, the Osbot Meet SE, which is better than the Logitech C920 and also around the same price. I've actually seen the Osbot, and I'm kind of torn, honestly. And I don't have any complaints about the Osbot. I've never used it. Of course, I've never used any of the Elgato stuff either. But one of the things that I've found is that sometimes going all in on an ecosystem can be a good thing. And I feel like I've got the Elgato key lights on either side of me. I've got one on either side. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera off for just a second here because I'm not doing anything. There shouldn't be that much play. I'm going to turn it back on. I don't know what's going on there. I apologize. This keeps happening recently, and I'm not entirely sure why. It seems like nothing wants me to... let me find... There's me. Where's me? Oops. No, not that. Video capture device. Deactivate. Activate. I swear, man. No signal. Really? Okay, we'll unplug it. Plug it back in. Activate. Close. Okay, now I'm out of focus. That's a start. Autofocus. We're gonna Okay, well, I am really frustrated here because it worked for a moment. So that sucks. I don't know why it's doing that. Did you try? I don't know what is going on there. Hold on. We're gonna do this. I have another option, guys. I apologize for this. I don't know what the issue is here. But I have another camera that we're going to use in the meantime. It's going to be, we're going to use my Insta360 camera. It's going to look different. I'm not happy with that, but you know, sometimes you just do what you got to do, you know? So we'll plug that in. Again, guys, I apologize. Everything was working fine until it wasn't, which seems to be how things love to work for me. So, let me get Insta360 controller. Get this over here. Don't care about all of that. Yes, okay. No, remind me later. I don't care. Okay, so then we're going to do that. And then I guess we'll turn that off, and then we'll come over to here. Thank you guys for your patience. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for that. I really, really do. Click close. And then, okay, so that's that. That's going to screw up, though. So we're going to do this. No. Sorry, I'm trying to get ahead of some of this stuff while I can. That's not it. Where am I? That's display capture. No. There it is. Let's do this. Oh, it switched that as well. Close. All right, never mind. I just disregard, I guess. Okay. Hopefully this will quit being like that. I'm going to turn this off as I fall out of my chair, so that at least we can chat. Of course, I'm still looking over there out of habit, and of course now you can see. This is why lighting. This is why I've got my camera settings the way they are, because it makes a difference. I don't want to do that. Brightness. Do that. Can we just bring down the low end a little bit? Oof. Wow, ISO. Let's do 400. 60. Wow, that's really yellow. Holy crap. White balance should be 4800. That's about where that's supposed to be. I am really yellow. Do I look really yellow to everyone? That's really strange to me. I don't know what's going on there. We're still there. We're still there. Don't make your lighting turn you orange. Like, yeah, temperature, let me just, okay, that's really blue though. Sure, 40. Okay, that's that. Okay, guys, that's, screw it. I guess we'll just let it do its own thing. Guys, I apologize. Thank you for putting up with all of this nonsense. Just, I guess you'll have to ignore the stuff, the stuff behind me. Yeah, that's really strange. I got to figure out what's going on with my camera there. That might have been enough to finally drive me to get something different. Anywho, we'll minimize that. All right, let's see. You know what? Let's just copy this. Oh, the Ozbot Meet SE. Sorry, now I'm off on a tangent. AI powered full. No, I don't want that. Okay, I see this. I hate it when websites do that. It's like, oh, here's a pop-up and there's a pop-up, and oh, you scrolled so far. Oh, there's a pop-up. You were on this part for 30 seconds. Do you want to pop up here too? Man, just quit. just quit. I want to see. Okay, I mean that's pretty cool. Seamless control by simple gestures. So that's again very similar to how the Insta360 works. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks good, but that's of course ideal lighting and whatever. 1080p, that's fine. Maybe I just needed to mess around with my settings a little bit more, but that's not why we're here. It's not. Let's see. Let's come back over and just do this for a minute. Naveen Chandra says, "Hey man, would love a tutorial on CryptPad. It's an office suite. No one has made a proper video when it's open source." But then Naveen, you go down to say, do you guys ever feel like you're spending more time finding the right tool than just using the tool? See, Naveen, the way you've structured those questions there makes me think that you have something to do with CryptPad. I'm not saying you do, but the way you presented it, like if you had just left like, hey, I'd appreciate a tutorial on this, okay. But then your question feels very, very infomercially about the Do you guys ever feel like you spend more time trying to find the right tool rather than just using the tools that are right for you? Like that kind of question, the way that was presented, feels very infomercially, like a very leading question to say, well, then I've got the solution for you. And then it's a very gimmicky kind of thing that you've done there. Let's see, crypt pad. So when I Googled CryptPad, there's cryptpad.fr, there's .org, there's the GitHub. Let's see. Let's come down to here. Contributors. There's 117 contributors here. All right. Interesting. Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. This is why I don't intend on getting a camera if I ever start my YouTube channel. Too much wonky stuff to deal with on top of me not being photogenic. Dude, I get that. I do. Here's the thing, like, this is the first time I've had that issue, and it's really frustrating because I just recently, in the last couple of months, got my camera settings where I was happy with how they looked. And one of the issues that I have with, especially with the Insta360 application, if we come over here and just take a look, let's minimize all of this, right? Is that I can come in here and I can adjust all of this stuff. But the next time I open this up, all those settings are gone. Like, this app sucks butt. Like I can't, even when I come down here and I save as a preset, cool. Why can't I have more than one preset? Like, why can't I have it? Just, this doesn't help me at all, and that's super, super frustrating. Because, like, I don't necessarily want, let's do this. Yeah, see, and now that's too dark. So then there's no way to just reset that. Like, the app for the Insta360, at least this version of it, about version 1.4.1, oh, there's a whole new build, because of course there is. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. So, shopping with DB diversions, it's fun. Yeah, dude, my whole life is a diversion. Like, my whole life is a series of side quests that sometimes actually line up, or that take me back to the main quest, but it's so infrequent that my side quests actually get my main quest completed. So anyway, let's get out of this. Where are we here? We're in YeetFile. Okay, let's come back over to here. Just watched a review about the webcam from Jeremy Chapman. That name sounds familiar. So anyway, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it, because I need something that has a decent interface, which is why I've been considering going with, here we are on a tangent again. That's why I've considered going with the Elgato stuff, because I've already got the Stream Deck, I've already got the lights, I may as well have the camera and the Padcaster, or not the Padcaster, that's what I've got, the caster, the prompter, they call it the prompter. Anyway, so let's see, but I'll definitely take a look at that camera. I'm definitely interested in it. I sometimes feel like I spend more time setting up my emulation system than browsing, playing games. Dude, I get that. I have set up Emulation Station or Batacera or so many of those so many times. And then by the time I've got it configured the way I want, I'm not interested in playing retro games anymore. And I go find another side quest, and then I never go back to it. So, sounds dumb, but I would love an updated tutorial on setting up Proxmox to use SMTP email server. I got mine working, but good grief, I had issues. I don't know why. Actually, Jeremy, hold on, IT with Jeremy. Yeah, this one. So recently, I actually, oh, of course I did that. Why wouldn't I do it that way? Let me find this, because this is honestly, like, I set up GoToFi recently with this video, but yeah, like, he's got this whole section in here about setting up SMTP stuff, I think. That's all GoToFi. Anyway, I'll share this. This is what helped me. I believe Notify also can work for that, but I used Jeremy's video the other day to help me get my GoToFi stuff set up for notifications. So that might be helpful for you as well. Both my chats were not related. Just asking. Okay, fair enough. Look, I wasn't trying to be accusatory, saying that you were trying to pimp that product. It was funny the way those lined up, especially the way you asked that second question. Struggling to set up a CryptoPad. I'll take a look at it. Sam says, I run both GoToFi and Notify in my home lab, and you actually prefer Notify. That's interesting. I've tried that. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I'm calling it Notify, NTFY. I've tried setting up. I just didn't like it. So I've just stuck with GoToFi. It works really, really well. I really appreciate how easy it is to set up and use. I also like that I get notifications on my phone, and Notify probably does that too. So let's see here. This is that. All right, so here we are. We're back on track, at least for the moment. So we took a look at this, and of course, like, if you sign up, you can again use an email address or an account ID. We talked about the pros and cons of having something like this set up. Or at least we talked about the potential cons of having something like this set up, and bad actors doing bad actor things with an instance like this. There's also some docs over here. Like, for this being version 003, the amount of effort that's already gone into this is really, truly amazing, in my opinion. So we've got security, we've got privacy policy, terms and conditions, FAQ, and contact. The one thing to know, like it says, well, it doesn't say it here. YeetFile says secure end-to-end encrypted file storage and sending service created by Ben Busby and the creator of Whoogle Search, Farsight, and more. It's intended to be easily self-hosted by anyone with basic knowledge of Docker, or can be accessed through an official instance at the URL we were just on. If we get into security, there's a bit of a note here. The terms, policies, etc. outlined below are only applicable to the YeetFile service hosted on yeetfile.com, as well as the code as it exists in the repository available here or here. If you are not using YeetFile or hosting services, these terms cannot be guaranteed. So that's good to know. When we get into sign up, the creation of account can be done by a user providing their email or opting to only use a YeetFile generated account ID as the user's identifier, along with the user's identifier, email, or account ID. The user must also choose a password. Very stable, normal stuff there. Login. 2FA is available here. Losing an account password, since the server never receives a user's true password. And since YeetFile uses zero-knowledge encryption, I'm actually glad to read that, password recovery is not possible. That said, I believe there's an option in here for hints. So like we saw over here, password hint is available right there. So apparently that's how that can be done. If we click here on read more, yeah, that's where we just were. YeetFile Vault for files and passwords. Uploading a file or password entry to YeetFile involves the following steps. Generate a unique key for the item encrypted with the current folder key. Upload the file metadata to the server along with the encrypted item key. Split the item into chunks only applicable to files. Encrypt each chunk with the file key and upload the chunk until the file is complete. So basically, sounds to me, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's like when you download an ISO from the internet and it's in like 50 .rar files, and the first one is like .r00 and .r01 and .r02. It does something kind of like that. And when you ask for that file, it kind of unpacks it using the encryption key that's available. Of course, there's more information here. We've got information here about folders and sharing. YeetFile send. Sending files differs from the Vault uploads by adding new metadata fields and removing the association of a user ID with the upload. So if you upload, or if you want to use the YeetFile send in here, it doesn't actually get associated with your account. That's weird. I wonder why they did that. Changing a password, logging out. All right, so that was all of that. So that's the docs. Everything should be in this video's description on either platform, YouTube or Twitch. So definitely take a look at that. And then, of course, we've got the GitHub repository where we've already kind of taken a look here. But again, it's all open source. You can dig through all of this and get an idea of what's going on. And again, very much more of the same down here, which I actually kind of appreciate. So let's see. YeetFile Vault. So this is the Vault. This is YeetFile Home. Interesting. Curious about this. This over here on the right side of the page there. Name, size modified. Interesting. File and password storage and folder creation. File, password, folder, users. You can share files between users, it seems. Email not required. Sign up not required for text-only transfers. Payments handled via Stripe. So apparently you can also charge people to use your service. That's interesting, especially this early on. So we've got, okay, so for self-hosting, you can quickly create your own instance of YeetFile using Docker Compose and then that command. This will create the Postgres database and the server running on that. You can modify the Docker Compose to use an external data volume by running Docker volume create and including the following in your Docker Compose YML file. You should create your own .env file with whichever variables needed to customize for your instance. See environment variables. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Access. When self-hosting, the web interface must be accessed either from a secure content, HTTPS, TLS, or from the same machine and service hosted on local host. So that means you can't just access this on 192.168.0.55, right? It won't work properly. You need to put this on a URL or have it on the same machine that you currently reside on. So whether you're doing this in like an Ubuntu desktop or Docker for Windows or whatever, there are some restrictions on how that works, but that has to do with the security that's involved in setting everything up. Note this does not apply to the CLI tool. You can still use all of the features of YeetFile from the CLI tool without a secure connection. To set up email registration for your self-hosted instance, you need to define the following environment variables. Okay, so email address, host, port, user, and password. Fairly straightforward there. This is all for building outside of the Docker file, but here we've got all of the environment variables for this. So host, port, debug, storage, host, database stuff, default user storage. Is how much storage does a user get, and it's done in bytes. So that's an interesting idea. We've got default user send, so you can restrict access to how much storage a user gets to use the send feature. YeetFile server secret. That's a 32-byte base64 encoded string of characters, and I think I actually saw somewhere. Maybe it's in the env file. Where did it go? There we go, right there. So this is used for encrypting password hints and two-factor authentication recovery codes. YeetFile domain, this is the default right here. Of course, you'll put in a valid domain string beginning with HTTP or HTTPS. Session auth key, again, a random value, that 32-byte hex or base64 encoded. Session key, same thing. YeetFile server password enables password protection for user signups. To me, that sounds like in order for somebody to sign up, they need to have a password. We'll see. Max number of users enables a maximum number of user accounts for the instance. It's set to unlimited by default, but apparently you can set an integer value of 1 or 5 or however many people you want to be able to register for accounts. Server secret is a secret value used for encrypting user password hints. Encrypting. The secret value used for encrypting user password hints. Used for encrypting password server secret. I'm so confused. Oh, it's just in there twice. That explains why. Disregard. Cache directory, we can set that to any valid directory, but that's for B2 only. This is only if you're using third-party storage for that. Maximum cache size, that's a number in bytes, so that's something to keep in mind. Cache max file size, again, you can set that. The TLS and TLS, the key and the cert for that, if you wanted to use your own SSL for that. And then there's some Backblaze or B2 environment variables for that as well, if you want to use those. So there's quite a bit going on there. So let's take a look here. Make sure that I didn't actually miss too much. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, so we've got a Docker Compose here, but we've also got a template.env file and a tests.env file. So restructure compose example. So again, this is still very, very early on. We're still very much in the testing, the building, the testing, the evaluation phase of this. So there will be some things that probably just won't work. But let's take a look at the Docker Compose here. Fairly straightforward, all things considered. We've got services. We've got an API, which is just our dashboard. Yeah, that's going to be our interface that we're going to log in with. The image is hosted on GitHub presently. Ben Busby's YeetFile latest. Container name YeetFile. Restart unless stopped. Very straightforward stuff. Ports 8090. This is the outside. And then it's got this weird thing that you may not have seen before. And I've been chatting with Dankster this morning. We've been kind of digging through some of this because he's the one who introduced it to me. So it was then his job, of course, to explain some things as I was digging through this. It absolutely wasn't his responsibility, but he was awesome enough to help me with some stuff. So basically, my understanding of this is that this is a variable that is facilitated by a .env file, whether it's the template.env or the test.env. We can see all of that in here. But, and again, I may be misunderstanding this. If you don't have the .env file in your root directory, it will then, instead of using the env file, it will use whatever is here. So this is just kind of, if you've got an env file, then use that. Otherwise, here's a default to use instead. That's how I'm understanding it anyway. I would actually like to know if you guys have seen something like this in the past, because I've never, I have seen stuff like this, but it was just, like the YeetFile without the 8090 in there, without the default, the fallback value. I've never seen a fallback value in an env file scenario. And has anybody ever seen anything like that? Obviously it's a thing because that's what they're doing. I've just never seen anything like it. DE is here, says, hey guys, I'm late, but I made it. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. That would be amazing. Thank you, Collins. I keep looking at this camera. You guys are over there. So, if you guys haven't liked the stream already, either platform, it would be super awesome if you did that. I still need to fix that. That's stupid. Man. Jorge Gomez says, hello all, made it. Glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. As you saw, we're talking about YeetFile from Ben Busby, who also did Whoogle. Then we've got expose 8090. We've got it depends on the database condition, the service being healthy. That's all fairly straightforward stuff. But then we've got more environment variables here. And I'm confused by this. I've never, like, anytime I've seen, maybe not every time, but very often when I see a Docker Compose using a .env file, there's just some reference in here, it's like env_file or whatever, and then it's just a reference to where that file is located. I've never seen, here's some default stuff with some throwback if you don't want to use that. I've never seen that, and it's just weird to me. But again, maybe this is just preliminary testing stuff on their end to simplify how they're doing things. I don't know. But we've got, debug storage, default user send, as far as how much space they get. Also, you're seeing a double dash right there because there's a dash in front of everything. But because there's already, like, this is -1 by default, that's why there's an additional dash in the front of it. The dash is there to differentiate that as being the actual entry. And then, dash Postgres, dash 8090, dash -1. So I guess that all makes sense. It's just weird to me. Then we've got volumes for where we want to map our storage for this stuff. You could also, if you needed to, you could create a Docker volume and map it that way. That was actually something that was talked about somewhere in all of this. That's too many of those open. With regards to, where did it go? Right there, Docker volume, create YeetFile data, and then you would change your volume to look like that instead. So that's volumes. We've got a database using Postgres version 16 Alpine. And again, we've got our volume there that you could create one of your own if you needed to. And then we've got some Postgres host auth methods. And then some information with that as well. So that's all super interesting stuff. You've seen that in both Compose and CLI. That's good to know. Like, I've just never seen it done this way. It confused me. Because, like, if it's here, why is it there? If it's there, why is it here? Why is it in both places? I started to spiral out a little bit. Luckily, Dangster kind of brought me back down and explained what was going on there. So again, that's what's going on there. And again, we've got this template.env file. There's also a test.env file, but there's just not much information in there when you compare it to the template.env file. Lots more information in there. YeetFile database host. That seems wrong. So confused. But wait, hold on. Yeah, database host is DB. That's so strange. Well then, I say we deploy it. We just see what happens. I think that's what we're all here for. Let's give it a go. I'm going to pop over to this. Here's something else maybe you guys can help with. So I logged in, right? Like, we can see that I am logged in. I can't click that. It's like there's something else going on. Like, none of this. It's like there's an invisible layer in front, and I can't click it. If I do a Control R and refresh the page, it goes away, and it's fine, and then everything works. Or I can use my Tab key to get over there. It's just the weirdest thing, and I don't know. Maybe you guys have experienced that. Do you know how to work around that? We're gonna clone this. This is my Portainer template. We're going to call it YeetFile. We're going to call it YeetLive. There we go. And clone. So I'm not sure why when I log in, there's an invisible force field between me and accepting that. And I have to refresh the page to get it to work. Strange stuff. Let's see. YeetLive, come on. I know you're working on it, but come on. Oops, there it went. No, not that. It's cloning. I guess we're just going to have to give it a minute. Sometimes they clone really fast and sometimes they don't. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that. but it's cloning, so I guess we'll just hang out. I would never officially recommend the tools on GitHub to remove the subscription nag from Proxmox, but those tools were good. I've done those tools in the past. In fact, I even think, I'm on the most current version. Like, if I come over to like updates, go to repositories, like I've disabled the enterprise stuff, and just have like the no subscription. But maybe I need to add, something else to get rid of the nag. So anyway, close that. Let's come down to here. Yeet Live. Let's go ahead and start that. Console. Is it thinking? There it is. All right, we get logged in here. Okay. So I wonder, I don't remember if I did this. CMD at, what's the IP address? There, 192.168.0.247. Cool, I did it that way. I wasn't sure if I'd actually allowed root remote access via SSH, which is a bad practice for the record. You shouldn't do that, but this is my production server, and I got tired of looking at this screen, so I did some stuff. Tell you what, let's do this. Just for the sake of, whoa, that was a lot all of a sudden. Let's just clone this repository. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to do this. Shouldn't be anything. Oh, we'll just do remove, get, and remove. Geez, rm setup ls. Cool. Git clone. There we go. Do this, and we'll zoom in a little, like so that it's easier for you guys to read. I know even at 1080p, it can get a little daunting there. I will. I'll take a look at that, Sam. I appreciate that. All right, so let's do an ls. So let's do a cd into Yeet Live. Let's do an ls-a, and here we go. So we have our Docker Compose right here, and we also got our tests. Where did it go? Tests.env right there. So I think the first thing we're going to do, we're going to copy. We're going to do copy.tests. It's just .env, and that way we've got. Geez, hold on. Whew. Let's do that. There we go. Now we've got an env file over here that's just a duplicate of the tests.env file. So that way, if I screw something up and want to go back, I can do that. I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a cp docker compose to docker compose bk. And that way I've got a backup of that as well. So then I've got, ls-a. I've got an env file here that I can use with a backup tests. And I've got a Docker Compose that I can use with a backup of that Docker Compose. That way I've got those that I can come back and take a look at later. Yay. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's do nano.env. Why do you guys watch me? Like, seriously. rm env. I wanted to copy template.env. There we go. Nano.env. There we go. That looks better. Cool. So now we've got some environment variables here for our database user, password, name, and host. The host should be DB because that is Docker Compose. If we come down to come back down here to here, our host right there is DB, so that's what it should be there. Over here, We watch because it's genuine and it's the same crap we do to ourselves. Yeah, thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. So next we've got some other stuff here for to do YeetFile server secrets off. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of all of that. We're gonna run this command. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. Wait, is that the wrong IP address? Should be 247. Huh. Copy 7. Yeah, there we go. I fat fingered the crap out of that. Cool. All right, so let's, you know what, let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna run that command again. This is gonna generate the key that we need, one of the keys that we need. So I'm just gonna highlight that, right click, and come back over to here, and paste that in. We're just gonna do that a couple more times to give us the keys that we need for the encryption for what we're doing here, like that. We'll do this one more time. And there is that. Paste that in. Okay. So that's all of the secrets, at least for that far. Let's see, unlimited storage and send. So those are both -1. All right, so what I want to do for the sake of this is that I want to use limited storage. We're going to set 15 megs for storage and 5 megs for send. Again, this is just for testing purposes. Next, we've got enabling Backblaze storage stuff. We're not going to do that. That doesn't matter to me at the moment. But I feel like we're missing some additional stuff. Let's come back over to here. Let's come over to here. Environment variables. All right, here we go. It's only me. It's an interesting name that you've got there, parenthetically. I'm sorry for taking off, but is there any alternative to Coolify for deploying apps? There's Casa OS, there's Zima OS, there's Portainer if you wanted to go something like that route. I've tried using Coolify in the past. I didn't like it. I didn't like the interface on it. There are lots and lots of options out there if you want to take a look at that. If you don't want to use Coolify, again, I wasn't a big fan. I know a lot of people like it, but I use Portainer for most things. I've got a Zima OS instance set up. You use, like I said, Casa OS. There are some others out there. You just got to know what you're looking for, figure out which one works best for you. Keep looking over there instead of there, and figure out which one works best for you, and try some stuff out. Don't commit to anything until you've figured something out that makes you happy. So let's do this. Let's bring that over to there. Okay, YeetFile port. That's all fine. Debug. Debug. Is debug not in there? We're gonna set debug. We're gonna set all this down here. Add-ons equals 1, right? Like that should be fine. Storage, we already took a look at that. We took a look at the hosts, the port. We don't have a port on there, but we should. CD YeetFile ls nano compose. I feel like this should be on. Okay, so we're using Postgres, so port 40. If I can get, all right. So this is what it should default to, I believe. So we're gonna put it in there. I don't think we actually need it, but we're gonna have it in there anyway. 5432. Database user, all of that's up there. That's all fine. Database, pass name, host, port, user, pass. Is there? Oh, there's user. Okay, user pass. That's all fine. Database name, YeetFile. That's all there. storage and send. We've already taken a look at those. Server secret, used for encrypting password hints and two-factor recovery. Okay, let's see. YeetFile server secret. That's YeetFile server secret. We've got that one. We're good. YeetFile domain we do not have at this point. So we're going to come back. Oh. I mean, you could start going back to this. It's all good, but what about firewall and antivirus? There isn't. You could try Unraid. Unraid might be an option. You might try, what's the other one that everyone always likes? What's the alternative to Unraid? Damn it, I can't think of what it is. Unraid alternative. Unraid. FreeNAS. Yeah, you can look at Unraid or FreeNAS. Either of those would probably do well for you. But again, there's a learning curve to all of that. Oh, Sven, thank you so much. That was really, really nice of you, Sven. Thank you for that. Sven gifted five memberships. That's amazing. Thank you so much. JD is here over on the Twitch. Thank you for hanging out over there. Trying to keep those numbers up a little bit so that I can get my affiliate status over there. So thank you for joining over there. Rebrand. FreeNAS was what TrueNAS was in the past before the rebrand. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, I guess before we go any farther than this, we need to get a domain set up. So let's take a look at doing that. We're on 247 here, so we're gonna go to, oops, that's not what I want. Do as 168 247. Shouldn't really be anything in here other than Portainer, so that's good. Let's drag this over here for a minute. Home, we're gonna come into here. Let's open that up. Let's go to stacks. Let's add a stack. T3. Take a look here. Cloudflare. Cloudflare Tunnels, Docker Compose. I still use my own resources for this stuff, guys. Like I genuinely do. We're going to call this Cloudflare. You guys are funny. Sorry, you got to look at my dumb face for a minute while I get logged into an account. Should be fine, but you know. Let's do this. That, and that. I'm going to get logged in here. We're going to do a zero trust thing, and then we're going to do a network thing. I'm going to tunnels. We're going to create a tunnel. Okay, so look, we're just doing this. We're going to call this Yeet Live. Save tunnel. Cool. So now I can grab this. Go back over to there. Like so. Oops. Like that. Cool. Now I'll have a tunnel here in a minute so that we can remotely connect to this. Like that. We'll give that a second to do its thing. Yep, Collins is everywhere, man. It's like everywhere I go, there's Collins. But definitely glad to see you guys both hanging out. Definitely appreciate it. This is still downloading. Give this a second. Cool. All right, so now we've got our tunnel up and running. So I can call this Yeet live.dbtech.tube HTTP. So it's going to be here. This is going to be on port 8090. So this isn't going to work immediately. Right, let's make sure that that's correct. Pretty sure we've got this on port 8090. interesting. It's not there. Huh. Well, we should probably add that. It shouldn't. It's fine. It's whatever. Okay, so we've got that. We're good with this. We're on 248 though, aren't we? I'm on 248, 247. I'm so confused. Okay, we're on 247. Cool. All right, let's make sure that is correct. We're going to save that tunnel for right now. Cool. All right. So that's that. I'm recommended here. Public host name. Copy link address. There we go. We're going to get there eventually. All right. Now the question is, should that be wrapped? Should that be wrapped in quotes? That's what I don't know. Super confused by that. It doesn't say. So what do you guys think? Should this domain down here in the env file be wrapped in quotes? Come back to that. So we've got auth key, encryption key, server password. Okay. YeetFile server password equals. So, okay, these secrets up here are wrapped in passwords, or wrapped in quotes. So, our server password to create an account is going to be password. Maximum number of users equals 10. But see, oops, 10, oops, no, cancel. There we go. 10. And again, we've got, like, storage up here isn't wrapped in quotes, so I feel like this shouldn't need to be wrapped in quotes. But I don't know if the password needs to be wrapped in quotes. So confused. So then we've got some caching directory stuff. That's all B2 stuff. So I think that's everything that we need. I mean, we don't even necessarily need this because it's also still part of, it's still in here as fallback. So confused. Expose. Yeah, it's all there in fallback. So strange. Just not used to this. It's a good point, Sven. It matters sometimes. I've discovered, especially when you've got stuff that has, like, let's say you were trying to set a secure password that had, had an @ symbol in it. My understanding, anyway, is that if you've got a password with special characters in it, whatever, that you need to have it wrapped in quotes in order for it to recognize that as part of the actual string. I don't know, because it's just a single word. It's just a basic. It's just the word password. It shouldn't matter, but I don't know that 100%. I don't know that 100%. So we're going to try it this way and see what happens. So next we've got YeetFile email address. So we've got some stuff here for email signups. So I'm going to paste all of this in there. Oops. And port. User and password, like so. So my email address, the email address to use for correspondence. So we're going to just put, right, so in theory, that's all we should need. I mean, But again, does this need to be wrapped in quotes? Does the domain need to be wrapped in quotes? I very often get confused by quotes because I don't know if the actual Docker Compose or the env file or whatever requires it. We do smtp.gmail.com. Port should be 587, but it might be 465. Hold on. Let's do Gmail SMTP port. 465 for TLS or for SSL and 587 for TLS. Tell you what, we're gonna go 465 because I feel like it's the most likely for that. Again, this is going to be the same thing. Like that. We'll come back. I'll put in the password in a minute. We'll come back to that. So all of that should be fine. We've got our address, we've got our host, we've got our port, we've got our user. We just need a password. I will do that later and take a look at that. So we're not doing anything there. Okay, so we've got our database stuff. We've got our secrets and our auth keys and our encryption keys set up. We've got limited amount of storage set up. We're not doing anything with Backblaze. We've added this stuff down here for debug to be on, for our database port to be that, our URL, server password, number of users, all of that looks good. So I guess what I need to do then is show you my dumb face for a minute so that I can do some stuff that you guys can't see. Basically, all I'm going to do, I don't care about any of that. I'm going to open up this email address. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an app password for this, just so that I've got one. Let me do this. Copy that. Yeah, ChatGPT says it shouldn't matter. That's good, I guess. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, so now I've got my app password in here. I've scrolled up so you can't see it. It's well, you can't see it anyway. There you go. So I've got my password down here. You just can't see it. Everything else is in there. With all of the stuff that we should, in theory, need to make this work, right? So I do Control O, oops, wrong screen, Control O and enter and Control X. So now I've created, I do an ls-a, let's do a nano.env just to make sure all of that is still good. I'm happy to see that. So we've got nano, let's do nano docker compose. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, in theory, so this is going to put it, it's going to create a volumes folder in this same directory for the uploads and for the database. We can see that. Oops, I'm going to say exit, so ls. You know what, I'm not happy with that. We're going to move it. Nano.env. Oops, nope. We're going to put this somewhere else. Docker. YeetFile uploads. Okay, we're going to do it that way. That way, everything's separate. I get confused too easily sometimes. Oops, I'm going to do that. Home, Docker, YeetFile data. Okay. All of that should be fine. So we'll do Control O, Enter X. That's been saved. So I do cd home ls. So there's nothing in there yet. That's good. So just my user account there. File. Oops. Cool. So now we'll do Docker. Actually, you know what? We'll do compose up -d. Cool. So we're gonna let this pull. We're gonna see what happens. And then yeah, I guess we're just gonna see what happens at this point. Containers, nothing going on there. We'll just hang out for a minute. So I guess while that's doing its thing, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. We've already been at this for 1 hour and 42 minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy to me that we can do this for that long without it seeming like it's been that long. Definitely need to figure out my camera situation. That's super frustrating. Doesn't look good at all. And again, it's because I need to clean. But anyway. And we still like each other too. It's a true statement. It is a true statement. So looks like we've got a network created. We've got a YeetFile container created, database waiting. So it's doing stuff that you guys can't see. Okay. Well, it says everything has been created and is healthy. So let's refresh over here. There we go. Okay. So now we've got our Cloudflare, we've got YeetFile, we've got our YeetFile database. Let's take a look over here. So it's created our database. That's good. Debug mode is active. Do not use this setting in production. Yep. So it's created four tables for us, minifying static. It's running some cron jobs. Cool. All right. So then let's come back over to here. YeetFile. Let's grab that. Okay. Sign up. So I put in all of the email stuff, but it's not giving me the option to create an account with an email address. Let's do nano.env. Okay, then let's come back over to here. Email. So we've got our email address set up there. That's so strange to me that it's not. Oops. Let's close some of this other stuff out. It doesn't give us the option to sign up, damn it, with an email account. I can create an account. Yes, I understand that. Create an account ID by entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tell you what, let's just do that. 6, verify. There is that. Start yeeting. Okay, so I'm signed in. That's good. But for some reason, even though I put in all of the stuff, it didn't give me the option. Change password. So it set vault size, it set send size. There's two-factor authentication, which we're not going to do. Advanced payment IDs, not set. Change password. Account ID, current password, new email. Those are passwords. So this should be change password, not, or like new password, confirm new password. That's not correct. But that's not my issue here. My issue is that when I created my account, it didn't give me the option to sign up with. It didn't give me the option to sign up with an email address, and that's weird to me. So I moved that over there. That's strange. I feel like I have to have missed something. To set up email registration, you need to define the following variables. I did that. You guys watched me do that. So strange. I don't understand why. Okay, well that's dumb. I don't care. Maybe some of this needs to be put in quotes. It's the only thing I can think of that would keep this from working. Because like these secrets up here have special characters and are wrapped in quotes. So we're just going to do this. I apologize. You guys got to look at my face while I put some stuff in quotes over here. This, like that. Okay. So I put like all of my email address and server and all of that in quotes there. We'll do a docker compose down. Also nano docker compose. Oops. Just do this. I'm just moving this to a different directory for the sake of not using data that's already there. I want all new fresh data for this. So docker compose up D. Yeah, don't always trust ChatGPT. That's fair. And look, here's the thing. Like this is why we're doing this, right? So that you guys can see it, so that we can confer on this as a community to figure out what works and what doesn't. We can troubleshoot stuff together as a community. We can hang out and chat. But we can also offer suggestions for these kinds of things. So, oops, I don't care. That was weird. Oh, that's cancel, quit. Okay, so sign up or log in. Sign up still isn't giving me that option, even though I already have that information in there. That's so strange to me. So this is the new instance, right? Server info, email signing up, not set up. But it is. It is. Okay, let's do nano docker. Actually, let's do. I'm gonna do this. I just, like, part of me wonders if the issue is that, and I'm deliberately not letting you see what I'm doing here, guys. I apologize. What I want to do, what I'm doing, is I'm taking all of the stuff from like the email stuff that I just put in that .env file, and I'm just going to put it over here in the docker compose.yaml file, just to see, because you know, stuff happens. So that's what I'm going to do here real quick. Oops. Oh, cancel. Oh. Right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just because I'm so confused. Oh, no, don't do that. Damn it. That was dumb. I accidentally repasted something in there. Broke everything. Actually, let's just grab that. Copy, paste, paste. All right. Oh, nope, space. There we go. So just so you guys can see what I did, I just, like, all of this, email address, email host, email port, email user, there's also a password down there. I've put all of that in there. So we're gonna do that. Actually, we're gonna docker compose down. And I need to re-edit it again. Nano, right. I need to edit the path. It's Docker 2, Docker 3. Cool. And then we can do that. And then we'll come back over to containers. And we'll wait for this to do its thing. Okay, that's all good. Let's refresh. Cool, YeetFile running. Debug mode is enabled. It's created that. It's done all of this. All of that looks good. It's added cron tasks. It's running cron tasks already. It's showing all of that there. Okay, so refresh. Email sign up not configured. I'm so confused by that. I did the thing, right? Like, have you guys seen that I've missed anything here? Because I am super confused that it says email sign up not set up. Did I miss something that you guys have seen? Possibly. Because I'm super confused. Let's do, oops, email. Self-hosted email registration, right? Okay. Email registration. To set up email, you have to have that stuff in there, and I've done that. So let's scroll down to here. Okay, address, host name, host, port, user, password, no reply. I feel like I have all of that in there. Are you guys seeing anything that maybe I'm missing? Because that'd be swell. I'm so confused by that. Oops. Host, user. Does this no reply? The no reply email. Maybe that's it. Oops. Password, user, port equals. I'm just adding this email no reply option here. So that all looks fine. Email password. The SMTP password for the email address. The user, the port, the host. Yeah, I'm genuinely not sure kind of why it's doing this. If this doesn't work here soon, we're gonna move on. But there's a couple of other things I want to try real quick because I feel like I'm missing something, and it's probably something basic or something that's I've overlooked in the docs or something. Compose up-D. So I modified the Docker Compose a little bit. Change some quotes, change some different things. Come back over to here. Yeah, that doesn't exist. That makes sense. It's created the database. It's created the network. All of that is doing its thing. Give this a second. Okay, all of that's been created. Let's refresh. Cool. YeetFile. Okay, it's done all of that. Great. That all looks fine. Let's do cd home docker 4 cd into YeetFile ls. We've got data, we've got uploads. So we'll do a cd into data. Just okay. There's our Postgres database. So that looks fine. Cd uploads ls. Nothing in uploads, as there shouldn't be at this point. We'll come back over to here. Sign up. Hey, it worked that time. Okay, Yay, that's actually great. I know that seemed really trivial and took us a long time, but we got there. And when I actually do the full tutorial for this, I will have a Docker Compose and an env file that we know works. So let's do that. Gloma Killer's here. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. All right, so it says a code has been sent to me. Let's put you guys in the dark while I find out if that is true. I can't imagine why it would lie to me, but you know, sometimes those things happen. So we're just going to do this. We're going to pop this over to there. We're going to go to this email address and close that. Google. It says it emailed me. I don't know if I believe it. Google Security, RackNerd, primary promotions, updates. It did not. It says check your spam folder. I've done that. Interesting. Well, I think we're getting it somewhere, though I'm not entirely sure where or how, because that doesn't make sense. Password, passwords. I just want to see if it actually used it. Yes, log me in. Created on. So it didn't. Okay, so I'm using, like, I'm looking at this screen and I've got stuff going on here, and I can see when things were last used, and it's saying that this, the password that I used for this has not been used. So that tells me that it didn't actually send me the email. Looking through here, looking through my spam, there's nothing in there that seems to be correct. So let's we'll do this again. Oops, nope. Docker Compose. Okay, well, then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to change the SMTP port to 587, as that is the other option. And I'm going to change this to that. So I'm changing another directory name here. All right, so let's do, well, that was stupid. What am I looking for here? Well, I don't like being in the dark. What is this? Don't care about that. Home Assistant. For some reason, my presence detector, I didn't even do anything. It just redetected me. That was stupid. Okay, let's do Docker Compose down. And then I just want to verify that nano Docker Compose. I want to make sure these are in the right directories. Okay, cool. Docker Compose -d. All right, so we're going to come back over to here. We're going to open this back up. We're going to go to our containers where there is nothing, but we are deploying some stuff. It says those have been created. Do this, containers, refresh. It's definitely thinking about it. Container is unhealthy. That's strange. No, it's not. It just took it. It took it a little longer than anticipated, apparently. So let's do this. 58. Yeah, I did all of that already. So it's created our database. It's done. It's created some cron jobs. That's all good. Glad to see all of that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to close that. We're going to pop this open there. We're going to click sign up. Cool. Create an account. Okay. Email has been sent. That looks correct. Let's verify. Let's see. No emails have been sent. Let's see. I found several self-hosted apps having trouble with insecure email or uninterested app certificates. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue here, just because we're using Cloudflare tunnels. And I've never run into that before. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm definitely not saying that. It's entirely possible that that is what happened. The only other thing I can really think of here is that possibly it be that this. Just gonna. Yeah, I checked my spam folder. Nano Docker Compose. Email address. Okay, so here's the other thing. We're just going to remove, oops. We're going to remove all of the quotes in my Docker Compose file just to see. Compose. Actually, let's put another local email server in another container. Yeah, I don't have an email server set up for that right now. It's not a bad idea. Definitely think that's a good idea. Docker Compose down. And then let's see. VP Journal says hi from Brazil. Biggest football club of America. Huh. Yeah, I don't watch sports, if I'm being completely honest. If I'm at somebody's house for an event, you know, a holiday, whatever, like I'll watch sports. And I can usually even mostly keep up with what's going on. And I can get excited for good plays and things like that. I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't know why. I just don't. But I think sports are good. I think sports do a really good job of bringing people together in communities and that sort of thing. Let's make sure that this is correct. That was at 1301. That was created just a moment ago, which tells us then that this should be good to go. Sign up, email address. Wow. Create account. Okay. Email has been sent to. Let me double check. Hey, I got an email. Interesting. I'm gonna do this and then I will show you. I don't want it. Submit. Okay, redirecting. Okay, so I got an email that time. I actually did. I've already done this, so it looks like I need to finish fixing that. But we're closer. It's good enough for who it's for, as they say. It worked. So we're just going to move on. We're going to keep trucking along through this. Now that it's up and working, like I said, once I get to a point, or once this project gets to a point where I feel like it makes sense to actually make a full tutorial video about it, I will. And now I'll have a Docker Compose that I can use for that setup. So we got there as a community. Thank you guys. So we've got some options here. We can upload text, which is just typing some text in their libsum, right, like this, like that. Then I can paste that in there, and we can see that that was 1253. We can set it for, let's just set it for like 5 downloads. It'll expire. They need to fix the little styling right there, but that's whatever. We'll set it for 30 minutes. We won't put a password on it for right now, but we'll click upload, and there it is. Let's copy that link. Let's open up a completely different browser. Let's Firefox. Paste that in there. Download. There it is. So the name, no name, text only, size 1.3 kilobytes, only good for this much longer. And I downloaded remaining 5. And when I did that, like, it showed me the text, and in real time it changed the downloads remaining thing there. So that's cool. I actually really dig that. So we're gonna minimize that for right now. Back over to here for just a second. That's fine. Cool. So that's what we've got going on there. That's great. So let's come back over to here. And then we can also upload files. I can choose a file. There's my picture. We'll say 1. We'll say expires in like 5 minutes. Again, let's password protect this one. And then we can show that it's fine. Upload. Copy link. We can also see that my file storage, how much I've got is being used and how much is left. I dig that. That's pretty neat. Let's open that up. Do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Submit. 1 download remaining. Download. Open file. Hey, look, there's my dumb face. Cool. That all worked. That's really cool. Here in Brazil, people choose their soccer club from a young age, usually influenced by their father. So if you don't follow the sport, you're surrounded by it. Honestly, man, that happens here too. It does. Like when I was little, I mean, clear up until I was like probably a teenager, if I'm honest. My uncle, was super into sports. You know, for the longest time, his baseball team was the Yankees, his football team was the Cowboys. I always really liked my uncle. We got along really well. We had a good time together. So those were my teams as well. I never cared. Like when I was, you know, between the ages of like 10 and 14, I collected baseball cards. I had almost the entire collection of the 1988 Topps, like all of the cards that Topps put out in 1988. I was missing, I don't know, a couple of dozen, but they were hard to find cards, and I lived in a very small town. So people here very much are into sports, and they get their friends into sports, they get their family into sports, and that's all fine. If I'm not in the moment, if I'm not with somebody who enjoys sports, if I'm not watching a sports ball thing, I just don't care. Like I'll get into it while I'm there, but outside of that, I don't know who's playing. I don't know sports. Like I know some of the teams, don't know their stats, just never. Collins. Look, like I said, it was guilt by association, guilt by proxy. I only cared about sports when I was hanging out with him, and that was a long time ago. So, anywho, so let's come back over to here. We've sent texts and we've sent files. Both of those work. Send. It doesn't really show me anything there. Let's go files. Loading. Upload. Interesting. So send. This doesn't. Okay. So it shows me that I got 4.8 megs remaining. But then 0. Okay, so that's gone. File expired. Okay, so let's do this. 4, 3, 2, 1. File gone. All right, let's refresh this. Okay, so for some reason, that must be bandwidth usage. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, what's up? Oh, thank you. Just bringing me drinks again. This was a cherry lime Bloom sparkling energy drink with prebiotics and no sugar. Not sponsored or anything. We just saw these at the store yesterday. Yeah, so I'm gonna be trying that. I'm excited about this. They've some of these companies have found black magic ways to make things taste good and not like stevia or whatever. So it smells good. I could smell it as soon as I opened it. Oh, oh, that's so good. Holy crap. Again, not sponsored, but oops, Bloom energy drinks. This is specifically the cherry lime. Holy crap. Prebiotic fiber, apple cider vinegar, positive mood, mental focus, natural energy, boosts metabolism. I don't know about all that. Sorry, another side quest here. 2 grams of carbs, no added sugar, 1 gram of dietary fiber, no fat, no sodium. But it's got like 100% of your riboflavin, 50% of your niacin, B6, B12, 100% of both of those. That's where the energy comes from, is the B12, or the B vitamins anyway. Crazy, crazy. Those are good. Holy crap. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, she is a good one. I'm going to keep her around. For those of you who don't know, my wife and I met when we were 10 back in 1991. And we've been friends off and on since then. We've been together for almost 12 years now and got married almost 9 years ago. Holy crap. Sam says, now I need to figure out how to delete an LXC that the ZFS dataset thinks is busy. You may have to go in, there are commands that you can run in the Proxmox shell that will officially stop the LXC. I think it's like PCT stop and then the LXC number or something like that. I may be wrong about that, but I feel like that's real close to what it is. So you should be able to stop the container that way and go that route. I'm trying to impress my crush by sharing my jellyfin instance. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't hate that at all. Okay, so let's come back over here and take a look real quick. So it seems like for sending files, right, like those files are both gone, right? For the send, the files are just gone. That's fine. Base send, 5 megs per month. Okay, so that base send, that's how much bandwidth you're allowing each individual user to use. That's good to know. And currently it is set at 5 megabytes per month, so not a lot. So you're gonna buy those drinks off Amazon and not use my affiliate link, Collins? You traitor! You traitor! Amazon, am I even signed in over here? I'm not. Oh geez, holy crap. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do this. That. And then a password gets messaged over here somewhere. Sign in. Bloom energy drink. Wow, that's actually a really good price for those. Get link, copy. Oh, affiliate link for Bloom Energy drinks. There's an affiliate link. Anyway, just being stupid over here. Where did it go? Oh, server info. All right, let's get back over here. There we go. All right. So, as we were just discussing, server storage storage backend is server storage. That's local. Base vault storage gets 15 megs. Bandwidth, I feel like this base send should be 15 megabits. There should be 5 megabytes per month. It parenthetically or with an alt or a title or something should say like bandwidth. Email sign up and billing. I may play with billing later because I think that's kind of a neat idea. You can set up with Stripe, but again, you're opening yourself up, like we talked about earlier in this video, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of someone using your service for nefarious purposes. So you've got to be really, really careful with all of that. Although I think if you were to use something like Cloudflare Tunnels, their system would suss out any CSAM material, I guess is the only way I can say that safely. But anyway, so that's what that is. I may take a look at billing at some point just because it might be fun to set up. Let's go back over to here. Log in. Am I not logged in? I thought I was logged in. Why am I not logged in? I am so confused. Oh, because I was logged in over here. There we go. This is where I wanted to be. Okay, so we've also got passwords over here. We can add passwords, name, username, email, password, show password for the URLs, notes. I like that you can add notes to this. That's pretty neat. So I might do something like Yeet Live, like that. Oops, that's not correct. No, that is wrong. That goes there. And then I could put in a password. You can add more URLs if you want. That's cool. You can leave notes. That's cool. Add. Cool. So there's all of that. That's pretty neat. What is copy password, copy username. I dig it. You can also organize stuff by creating folders. What the hell? That was weird. You can create folders and organize your passwords if you want to do that. So I dig that. Hey, Ethan. Glad to have you here. That's Ethan from Self-Host, the Self-Host newsletter and podcast. We were sitting here. We were chatting about YeetFile. We spent quite a bit of time getting sending emails to work for account creation, that sort of thing. But while we were doing that, my amazing wife brought me a Bloom energy drink. So that's how we got on that. And not only does it smell good, it tastes good, and it doesn't like there's a bit of a taste in the back of my mouth, but it's not unpleasant. So that's really, really good. So that's where that came from, Ethan, if you were wondering. So yeah, so that's the password vault. Pretty straightforward stuff. Let's just do live. Right? Can I drag this into there? I cannot. Can I edit it? Rename, share, cancel. Can I edit? Interesting. Okay, we're gonna close this. Can I? Okay. Well, so what I'm seeing here, let's do this. Generate password. Okay. So if I come into here, I open this up, I can add, we're going to call this live at live.com, live, https, live.com, right, whatever. Add. Okay, so that is something that I just discovered here, right? So if I come into here, I can't move this, right? There's no way for me to move this from being in the root directory here into the live directory here. I can rename, I can share. Let's click share. Okay, so share with a user, email, or account. Let's try this. Gmail.com and share. Okay, so with sharing of passwords, using this method of sharing, clicking the share, and it actually says it right here, and I missed it. Share with YeetFile user. So you can share these things internally with other users who are part of this instance. You can't share it outside of this ecosystem though, so that's something to keep in mind. You actually purchased your variety pack. That's amazing. Let me know how that goes, Collins. I'm curious because, like I said, the cherry lime, freaking great, like so good. Anyway, so you can't share passwords outside of this, right? If I click here and I click share, it's only sharing with a YeetFile user. So that's good to know. Again, you can copy username and password. Also, again, you can't move things around presently from one folder to another. There's no way to do that yet. But again, as we've talked about early in this, it's still version 0.0.3. So we're not going to hold them accountable for anything right now. So you can store passwords that way. That's it. Files. Again, you can create folders. We'll call this files live, right? Create. I wonder though, create folders. Can we do files live? Okay, we can actually do spaces in there. That's cool. Because the name of the file, or sorry, the name of the folder here, like files live or files space live. If we look up here, we can see that it's not using our custom naming convention. It's giving each folder and probably each file as well a string of characters for the URL that's encoded. So you can't do anything with that. I actually kind of dig it. So since we're in here, let's upload a file. We'll put one there. Finished uploading. Cool. So it's showing I'm using 239.9 kilobytes of my 15 meg storage limit. Let's do one more, just cause. Finished uploading. Cool. Now we're using 519 kilobytes of our 15 megs. Very straightforward stuff. And there it is. You can open it up that way. You can close. You can open it up. You can pop it out. There's a blob URL. You can download it. So you can just store your stuff there. That's actually pretty neat. Cool. So that's that. So let's come back over to here. Let's go to files. There's all of that. We took a look at passwords. We've got that. We took a look at send. That's where we started all of this. We can see how much bandwidth we've got remaining, and our account. Wow, that's cool. Actually, I hadn't seen that yet. So again, there is the option to set up two-factor authentication, where you can click that. It will you can click right. You can click right there, and it will show you a QR code. You scan that with your app, and then you type in the corresponding code that it gives you, and then you have two-factor authentication is set up, and I think that's awesome. Also, there's a payment ID. I'm not entirely sure what that's for since we're not using payments, but you know, it is what it is, as they say. So all of that seems to be working for the most part. It does look like there are some things, like I said, in that email that I finally received after getting everything set up. I didn't have. There's something in my environment variables that's wrong because the email it sent didn't actually give me the full URL. So, so that's it. Like that, but that's cool. Like I really dig this YeetFile. I think this is great. Like the aesthetic looks great. Let me actually clear that out. It's got a clean aesthetic to it. It does what it says it's going to do. Again, it would be nice to have an admin panel to kind of dig through here and at least see what other users are doing as far as their file, their storage, all of that kind of stuff, based on what we saw over in the GitHub repository, or the GitHub over here under discussions. It was number 9, this one right here. And if we scroll down, there was something about I'm interested in making an admin UI for these sorts of actions. We'll prioritize that for the next feature. I'm super excited about possibly getting that. Hey, you tested my Yeet Live with the classic lorem ipsum. Awesome. I hope it worked for you, Sam. Let's see. Let's go on another little side quest here. What do I think about that? The GMK Tech G3. I mean, do they have an actual website, or is it just they do? That's the plus. GM. More pop-ups. All right. G3. Well, that's not helpful. Let's look here. G3. Do they have a G3? There we go. I mean, look, for that price, that's a great price. But it is bare bone. There's no RAM. There's no memory. It's got an N100 processor in it. That was stupid. Space saving, low power consumption, perfect for light working. Digital signage monitoring, home lab. Absolutely. But the other thing to keep in mind with it being the N100, you are only going to get one channel for RAM. It's going to be single channel memory. It's going to be, and it's going to, I think it's going to cap out at like 16 gigs. I think that's basically as high as you can take the RAM is what they've got right here. That said, this shows 1 terabyte. This shows a max of 2 that's supported by the system, which is very possible. But even maxing that out, that's a great price. Like I don't hate that at all. What else? So we took a look at that. Yep. Yeah, I mean 6 watt TDP. That's awesome. Yeah, like let's see here. That's the other thing I wanted to see. Okay. The other thing to keep in mind, now that I'm looking at this, is that it looks like the main storage drive, looks like there are 2 M.2 slots, but I have a feeling that the main one is going to be NVMe, and the other one, based on what it says right here, is SATA, which isn't necessarily a huge deal. I had some over here earlier. Or maybe they're out there. Maybe they're in the other room. But your NVMe drives and your SATA drives use different technology to communicate. And if this is SATA, you can't just throw any NVMe drive in there. It has to be a SATA compatible NVMe drive. So that's just something to keep in mind. Just so you're aware, these 2 drives most likely use different technology. Because again, they're both 22. Oh, and this is 2242 as well. So not only are they different technologies, they are different sizes. And we only get one stick of RAM in there that's single channel DDR4, most likely capped out at 16 gigs. Look, if you're looking for a small home lab, nothing wrong with it, man. Have at. That would absolutely be my consensus on that. If you can afford it, if it makes sense for you. Wait. In Brazil, it's $250. I mean, like it was originally like 300 and something. And it's going to depend on, man, I think it's going to depend on all kinds of things as far as what the price is concerned. Let's do this. Let's do Amazon. Oops. G Tech G3. Let's look here just to see. Yeah. There is also the Plus version that has the N150. Yeah, like this one. And I know you're in a different country. I'm just price comparison. I'm price comparing here. $191 gets you the N150, which is the half step up, 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte drive. Again, that's going to be your boot drive. That's not going to come with. Yeah. In fact, it even says it right there. 1 terabyte for your boot, and then that M.2 is a 2242, and it's SATA, so it's a different technology. So just something to be aware of. But it also includes a 2.5 gig LAN port, so that's cool. I wish it told us what. I guess it doesn't really matter. It just says 4K 60, so I'm going to guess it's HDMI 2. Maybe it says something down here. Of course it does not. They never. That's one of my biggest complaints about these mini PC manufacturers is they never actually say what version of technology they're using. Like this says GigaLAN, but it also says 245. They give lots of different bits of information that don't necessarily line up. So for this to be basically fully spec'd out and less than $200, I don't hate it. Like I genuinely don't hate it. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at for that price. I think it's definitely an option if that's what you're looking for. So, but I agree with Collins. He's saying I feel like most of the N100 PCs tend to set around this price point. They do, because the reality is the N100 series isn't gonna do much. Like if you've got a grandma who or a grandpa or whatever who just wants to get online and scroll through Facebook and send an email periodically, an N100 is perfect for that. They don't need to be any more powerful than that. But if you're looking for something to do like even image editing and that sort of thing, these aren't going to be real good for anything really more than just like light browsing. Because if you think about it, that's what the Chromebooks were for a long time. They were real low-powered devices, and everything was meant to be done online. So if you wanted to do image editing online, if you wanted to do whatever online, it would be great. But for local stuff, not great. That said, they're not a bad Plex host. Yeah, I mean, if they've got the right processor in it with the GPU, or not the GPU, the iGPU in the processor. I don't remember what the N100, the N150 does, or what it's got. I know that there are decent options out there. I'm not sure. I've never actually used, or I haven't used one in a long time for that, so I don't know. I know you had an N200 that you used for a scripted server for transcoding and that sort of thing, and I feel like it would be equally good for like transcoding in Plex. I can't see why not. As long as you've got a Plex pass and you can do hardware transcoding. What is quick sync video? Yeah, I read that. I was like, I know what that means. I had to Google QSV. That's where my brain is now. Hopefully, the second cup of coffee and the energy drink will help. Yeah, the N200 worked great for scripted. That's cool. So. With YeetFile here, were there any other things that I missed, or that we should chat about? Whether it's the application, is there anything over in there like their GitHub we should take a look at? Definitely interested in taking a look at all of that. Currently using a Pi 4B. 4 gigs, it runs 8 containers, but of course it can't do video transcoding. 60 degrees. Yeah, look, 60. No, it's fine. Most of us in here have an idea that 60 degrees is fairly warm. It took about 30 minutes to do the complete audio transcode of the Oppenheimer, the GMT. Yeah. As long as your CPU supports QuickSync or the video QuickSync or QuickSync video, or whatever Intel calls it, you should be fine if you wanted to use it for that. Let's take a look at discussions. Is there anything else is closed? Is there anything is closed? Okay, no matching discussions there. Let's come back over to here. Oops, let's go back. Come on, there we go. Work with me here. Discussions. All right, announcements. Everything in our announcements. Updates from maintainers. General. Nope. Ideas. Polls. Nope. Q&A. Okay, we already took a look at that. It was answered. Show and tell. Cool. Also, guys, in fact, I'm going to do this right now. 79 stars. 80 stars. Let's let's get this up. Let's phrasing. Let's give them more stars if you're interested in this. That'd be amazing. But I've got an old NUC with the sole purpose of notify, Godify, and Uptime Kuma. I've actually thought about doing something like that. I've also thought about setting up something like on a VPS, like on RackNerd or something, for external notifications and uptime monitoring and that sort of thing. Just because if your network goes down, you're not going to get those notifications. Whereas if you got something remotely or monitoring things, if your network goes down, you should in theory still get notifications from there. And I've thought about doing that for a while. I really should one of these days do that. But that might be fun. That might be a fun project to work on. VP Journal says, thank you so much for your support. Come to Brazil. I would love to. There's a lot of places I really want to visit. I've wanted to go to South America for a long time. I dated a girl from Colombia for a while. That was an experience. I can say that. But I've wanted to visit. I've wanted to visit South America. I've been to Scotland a couple of times. I want to visit Asia as well. But I don't know. We're gonna see how the next few years go, and how things change and how they stay the same and whatnot. And we'll see. But I definitely want to travel more. The biggest issue is, well, I mean, a couple of the biggest issues currently: finances. Traveling's expensive, but then also finding care for the kid for however long we'd be gone would be a lot. We're not quite sure we're ready to leave him with somebody else just yet, until we get some other things ironed out with some of his behaviors. So, I'm not too worried about. I mean, obviously, I'm worried to some degree about my safety, but not super worried about that. I feel like I would hit the touristy spots because that's what you do when you're a tourist. Unless you've got somebody there who can then show you the real experience. That's what I really enjoyed about my trips to Scotland, was that I had somebody there who was able to like show me around, and rather than just taking me to all of the stereotypical touristy stuff, I got to see, you know, actual local places that were, you know, the people in Scotland went to rather than just the touristy stuff. Like the first time I was there, I actually managed to I got to go to the Fringe Festival that's over there every year. I think it's every year. That was a lot of fun. I drove around Loch Ness and went to eat at a pub up in that area that was like 600 or 700 years old. Great food there. Had haggis there for the first time, so that was awesome. I believe you when you say that I will love the food there. The chick that I dated from Colombia, she and her mom used to cook all kinds of food from their area. There was also some Cuban influence in my life for a while, so I'm a big fan of the food. Big fan of the food. So yeah, would love to visit all kinds of different places. Just got to get some other things in line first before I can consider anything like that. Just because. Oh, nice. Sorry, just looking over here at the Twitch there for a second. When I go to Epic Universe in Florida, your country is fantastic. Well, I don't know if I can go back to Florida. In 2009, I went to Florida. And that was a fiasco. Like, okay, so I'm from Idaho. I live in Colorado now. I moved to Colorado from Idaho in the end of 2007. The roommates that I had at the time when I moved to Colorado were also from Idaho. They in fact paid for me to move down to Colorado, and because both of them and I all had family back in Idaho, several times a year we would drive up to Idaho to hang out and visit people, that sort of thing. So what happened was I was dating this Colombian girl, and it's 2009, and we flew to Florida. And we flew to Florida to pick up a car from her sister because her sister didn't want to maintain the lease on it anymore. So she was going to take over the lease. We flew down there and drove back. I drove back because her driving terrified me. Did not like her driving whatsoever. So I drove from like Miami to Colorado Springs over the course of a couple of days. And that was a lot of driving. That was a couple of thousand miles. And then I got home after all of the catastrophe that was that trip. And then I got home and my roommate was like, "Hey, I got to go to Idaho tomorrow." Turns out he and his wife were getting a divorce, and they had agreed, or his brother had agreed to take their dogs. So we, after two or 3 days of driving from Miami to Colorado, I then drove from Colorado to Idaho. But I had somebody that we every time we got gas, we would swap out. He would drive, I would drive, he would drive, I would drive, whatever. It was fine. While we were there, because we drove up with the dogs, while he was there, he got a notification from work saying, "Hey, you actually need to be in Chicago tomorrow, so you're going to have to fly out from Boise to Chicago," or wherever it was. So make that happen. Of course, they paid for his flight and whatever, but then I had to drive back from Boise to Colorado. So like in the course of like 4 days, I drove 4,000 miles, roughly. 4,000 miles, no, two from there, and then 1,000 round each way. So yeah, 4,000 miles in like 4 or 5 days. I was exhausted. So I didn't want to drive anymore for a really, really long time. The thoughts of using Uptime Kuma with mesh testing to get auth notifications. She was a Telemundo model, so take that for what it was. The thing to keep in mind, this is advice that I learned, or that was given to me a long time ago from somebody, and basically, it was, and I'm paraphrasing here, and it goes both directions. It doesn't matter what gender, male, female, non-binary, whatever, right? No matter how hot you think that person is, someone else is tired of their crap. And I learned that to absolutely be true. It doesn't matter how attractive a person is. If you're out in public, you see somebody that's really, really hot, really attractive, really whatever, somebody in their life wishes they would just sit down and shut the hell up because they're tired of their nonsense. So looks are definitely not everything. And that's, yeah, so that's just something to keep in mind. Just don't make sure that if they're attracted, that they've also got personality to go with it, is what I'm saying here, because personality will last a lot longer than looks will. So, but if you can get both, man, congrats. But yeah, but just make sure that they've got a personality, because that is 100% more important than anything else. Like, we all get older, our bodies change, our looks change, we get wrinkles, we get crow's feet, we get scars, we get booms, whatever, right? Like, all of that happens, and we don't look the same now as we did 10 years ago or 10 years from now. You can always improve your personality. You can't always improve your looks. So, oh, the Barney Stinson hot to crazy scale. I haven't watched How I Met Your Mother in a long time. You can handle the personality for 2 months. Yeah, we're deviating from topics, however. That's I think these streams need to be deviations including, and then whatever the topic of the video is. But yeah, so I really need to rewatch How I Met Your Mother one of these days. It was a good show. I never understood how Ted, being an adult, had a completely different voice. Like, how did he get Danny Tanner as his grown-up voice if he was already an adult? Anyway, was there anything else from YeetFile that we missed, that we should cover, that we should talk about, whether it's in the app, whether it's in the GitHub repository? Is there anything we missed that we should talk about? Oh, also, that's great. So vulnerability scan passed, tests web scan passed, tests go passed. All that's great. Again, links to everything in the video descriptions for both YouTube and Twitch. If you want to check those out, that would be amazing. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to drop a like on the stream. Again, I don't know how it works on Twitch, if I'm honest. Can you like a Twitch? Can you like a Twitch stream? I don't know. I've never. Yeah, that's muted. You can follow. You can report. What's this? You can share. Guy, can you really not like a Twitch stream? I guess you like Twitch streams by giving tokens or bits or whatever they're called. This whole Twitch thing, like, I have no idea what I'm doing with it, if I'm completely honest. No clue. Oh, but I did add these panels down here the other day, so that you've got those for whatever reason. Oh, hey, 199 followers. Holy crap, that's come up quite a bit in the last little bit. That's awesome. So anyway, I should close that so they don't try to think that I'm trying to scam, because I'm not. I don't want to screw up my Twitch stuff here. It's not worth it. So let's see. Give bit if can you as an American talk about how you see the country today? You also believe that there are good areas to live in, good prices, quality of life, others. Yeah, no, I agree that there are definitely different areas of the country that are easier and harder to live in, 100%. Moving from where I lived in, even in different parts of Idaho. Like, I grew up in a very small town of like 4,000 people. And it was mostly a safe place as long as you kind of stayed away from the meth neighborhoods. And there were a couple of them. As long as you stayed away from that, you were usually pretty fine. Then I moved to Boise, and it was my first big city experience. And I say that with air quotes because it was only like 130,000 people when I was there. So it's not it's still not a big city, but it's bigger now than it was then. Moving to Colorado, and then like specifically Colorado Springs, that's like 750,000 people, was a big jump, but it still had a very similar feel to where I had just come from. So that was nice. But it's just like any, again, big city. I don't know what qualifies as a big city, but there are different sections of the city that, like, once you're embedded in that area, you really only go to other boroughs or other districts or other whatever for things that aren't in your area, doctor's appointments, certain things, certain stores, specialty shops, things like that. Other than that, you never really leave your area. But Boise also is known as one of the best cities to live in. Yeah, it is. I've seen that. They also still have a minimum wage of $7.25 across Idaho as an entirety. Lots and lots of businesses there are still trying to pay that, while still expecting their employees to be able to survive, and you can't. The housing market in Boise is also one of the worst in the country, all of Ada County, because like Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Kuna, Star, I think technically is still in Ada County, but it might have actually moved it. That might actually be part of Canyon County. But Ada County, is a thriving metropolis. It's grown. It's immense. It's continuing to grow considerably. It has for the last 15 years or something. The problem is that the price of everything is skyrocketing, and Idaho is going out of their way to make sure that they will not raise the minimum wage until they're absolutely forced to by the federal government. Like they are. The governor of Idaho, Brad Little, used to be my neighbor. Like literally lived next door to me for a number of years when I was a kid. Like I went to school with his kids. Like I think there was one a grade ahead of me and one that was a couple of grades behind me. And he is not who I thought he was. Some of the things that he has done, some of the things that his attorney or his not attorney general, but like the second in command after him, some of the stuff that she has done, I will never live in Idaho again. I will take evasive action, whatever method necessary, to never live in Idaho again. Like I don't mind. Like I understand that there are conservatives and there are liberals, but in my opinion, Idaho is too conservative, and I can't do it. So. So yeah, no, like there's just the only other thing I'm going to say on this, and then we're not going to touch on it anymore in this stream, is that the United States is too big for the number of people that it's got, for the amount of government we've got. The United States is too big, and I feel like it needs to be broken up into. Like each state should be its own country, very much like Europe. Like Colorado is bigger than all of Great Britain. That includes the England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. Like Colorado is bigger than all of those as far as square mileage is concerned. And I feel like it's too big. The United States is too big. To have one way of managing absolutely everything. It's too big. We need to break it up into smaller chunks. I'm not saying necessarily like 50 separate chunks, but I think it needs to be broken down into smaller chunks into individual countries that can self-manage and self-govern without having one overarching thing that is forcing its feelings down everybody else's throats. So, let's see. Couldn't delete my container, had to reboot the host. That sucks. The best place to live is in the United States is Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Doesn't it get like blisteringly cold and like sideways ice and all kinds of stuff up there? I can't imagine. PW, thank you for hanging out. I'm not. I don't know what the developer technology job market is like here. I'm not part of it. This is my job. This is what I do. So I'm not out there looking for jobs. I don't know what it looks like. Summoner, I agree. I agree that you clicked on this for tech software videos, not political talk. And that's why I wanted to get out of that. That's why we're going to quit talking about politics and that sort of thing. Don't want to do that. Says not as bad of weather as people think. That's good, because I thought it was awful. But I'm glad to know that it's not as bad as I thought. So that's good. God, I just cannot believe how good that is. I'm going to get cancer or something, I'm sure. No artificial colors, flavors, or aspartame. Crazy. Okay, VP Journal, we're done. We're not going to talk about any more political stuff. Prices are too high. There's too much divisiveness. I don't want to get into politics on here. It's too divisive, and that's not what this channel is about. We're not a news organization. We're not a political thing. So I'm not going to talk anymore about politics or where's the best place to live. I don't want to cause issues here. That's not what we're trying to do here. So, so sorry, I'm just over here looking through here. Again, I need to fix the what the hell is it called? The Docker Compose to have a better to actually have the full URL, because the URL that it gave me in the email that I got was wrong. So I'll have to figure that out. But now that I've got a Docker Compose that works, I'm happy with that. I will probably share that somewhere once I get it once I get it where I'm happy with it, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'll go through and I'll create a Docker Compose that I'll either pin to the top comment or something in here, or I'll have it available somewhere. But I really dig this. I think it's great. I like what they're doing with it. Obviously, it's still very, very early. Again, we're talking, version 003 here. So still work to be done. In fact, if we take a look, see, that was a version. Oh, no, I want to go to, oops, refresh. That was weird. 70. Okay, so then let's click on releases. We've got 3 releases. So version 003 was 2 days ago. Version 002 was also 3 days ago. And 001 was 2 weeks ago. So they're doing a pretty good job of keeping things going here. We've got CLI stuff, we've got backend stuff in the releases. Try the Guarana Antarctica as a drink. That sounds good. The droid attacks on the Wookiees. Yeah. So yeah, no, you're right. You didn't bring up politics, but it's easy to. Unfortunately, it's too easy to get involved in that conversation in those particular instances. It's unfortunate. It's just that's how things have been for more than a decade, and it's awful. It really is. But I think at this point we've kind of covered everything there. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Take a look here, see if this is done. I had. So this is my ZimaCube we're gonna log into here just real quick because screw it, why not? Looks like it's running pretty warm, but it's been like doing stuff for a while. So basically what I've got here, again, this is ZimaCube with a Zima OS. In fact, this is the ZimaCube Pro with Zima OS on it. If we take a look in here, we've got a couple of RAID 5s set up. One of them is NVMe storage here. It's got 3 NVMe drives. I've got a 4th one that I had in there, but it turns out it was dead, so I just took it out. So if I were to put a 4th one in there, I could bump this up and have some faster storage. Not super fast because these are cheap SSDs. But then I've also got this RAID storage of like 30 terabytes available. Because I went with a RAID 5, and the first 4 are all 8 terabytes, and then these last 2 are 6 terabytes. And right here we can see, it says it's protecting. So yeah, I think it's still doing stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. It's definitely something I want to dig into a little bit more. The reason I kind of even brought this up is that I've got Plex installed. So I've also got, if we go into Plex here, of course you're going to be like that. Anyway, with the default settings in here, if I go into settings, it's like by default, it just works. And I've got a GPU in there. I've got an Intel Arc GPU set up in here, and it just worked. Like it just recognized that it was there. I was able to set it as my transcoder, and I've been really happy with it. So I will probably use this for some more testing stuff with regards to maybe some AI stuff. Though I may make this my Plex server and use the other my HL15 for the AI stuff, just because this card only has 4 gigs of RAM and my 2070 has 8. So lots of stuff to do. I just don't know how I want to do it. But I've got this set up and ready to go for when I'm ready to actually get started on whatever my next project happens to be. Let's see. Did Han shoot first? Have you tried to run DeepSeek? I haven't yet. I've thought about it. But yeah, I might throw it on here just to see. But again, it's only this machine only has 4 gigs of VRAM available to it on that GPU. So I don't know. Rivet the Lomback says, do you use Nextcloud? I found out the Cloudflare has a file limit and was looking for alternatives. How is Porkbun working for you? Okay, lots and lots of stuff to talk about there. Let's do that for a minute. I do not use Nextcloud. I hate it. So that's the end of that conversation. No, like, look, this has been a topic we've talked about several times over the past however many live streams. Nextcloud has an audience, and I'm not part of that audience. It's a great product for those who like it, those who use it. I've tried multiple times to use it, to like it, whatever. I just don't care. Like, it doesn't seem to matter how many times I try to make myself use it and like it. I just can't do it. So there's that. You're right that Cloudflare Tunnels does have a 100 meg file upload for file transfer. So that does cause a bit of a problem with using Cloudflare in front of Nextcloud. However, let me take a look over here. If you wanted to use something like Pangolin for a reverse proxy, you could use Pangolin as an alternative to, and there's, hold on, Pangolin tutorial. There's a link to the Pangolin tutorial. That is a self-hosted reverse proxy solution that's basically a replacement for Cloudflare Tunnels. If you wanted to go that route, you could also, there's a lot of different ways you could access it remotely. But I like Pangolin. It's a great project. I want to revisit it at some point. It just works. In fact, when we did a live stream on it, like, I was dumbfounded for like a full 45 seconds or something when it just worked and I didn't have to do port forwarding or any of that kind of stuff. So take a look at Pangolin if you don't want to use Cloudflare Tunnels. It does require that you've got a VPS outside your home if you want to use it as a tunneling option. So that's something to keep in mind. And Porkbun's been great. Like, I've been using them for years. They actually sponsored some content a couple of times, gave discount codes, that sort of thing. I think they gave me a free domain once as a sponsorship. But their prices are good. They include privacy. So, like, if somebody does a whois on your domain, it all comes back unavailable. So I super appreciate that. The prices are good, especially for including that. So yeah, I big fan of Porkbun. Love working with them. Love giving them my money. I don't have any issues with that at this point, unless they do something real stupid, which I can't imagine they would do. But no, they've been great to work with. And like I said, there's any number of ways that you could access or remotely access your Nextcloud instance. But again, using Nextcloud does kind of limit your file upload ability for anything over 100 megs. So, config, haven't done much with it. Everyone drink. DB mentioned Nextcloud. Yeah. Let's see who that got. Let's see. I've been reducing the number of Nextcloud apps. Now I only use Nextcloud for file management, calendars, notes. Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Like, in order for Nextcloud to do its thing, in order for Nextcloud to keep working properly, it has to have cron jobs being run on it basically constantly. And I know that you can have cron jobs run when you're clicking through. Like, you can have a click activate a cron job, if I remember that correctly. or you can use a third-party cron job service, or you can set cron jobs up in your host. There's so many different ways you can do it, but I hate that in order for Nextcloud to do its thing, you have to have cron jobs set up. Let me rephrase that. In order for Nextcloud, I hate that in order to use Nextcloud effectively, you have to set up cron jobs in order for it to work, or you have to set it to run cron jobs on click. And I don't know why. I feel like that's wholly unnecessary. If we take a look, these are the live logs from YeetFile. See how it says cron job running, cron job running, cron job running, like, I didn't configure those. Those are just built in to YeetFile. This is version 0.0.3 of a new application, and I didn't have to set up cron jobs. But if I want Nextcloud to not choke itself, I have to set up cron jobs, or I have to configure crons to run at intervals, or I have to configure crons to run on clicks, or that's stupid. They need to fix that if they haven't already. Like, if cron jobs need to run, then click enable cron jobs and just have them run. And maybe they've fixed that. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've used it, because every time I do it, I feel dirty. I feel hateful towards myself for having installed Nextcloud. Especially when I look at a brand new application that's still in zero phase of its development and it's got cron jobs built into it. Why doesn't Nextcloud? I actually made a video about how to get around that using Uptime Kuma, where I found the cron file for a Nextcloud instance. I found the URL for that specific cron file, and had Uptime Kuma like hit it like every minute or every 5 minutes or something, and that was enough to keep the cron jobs running. But again, that was something outside of Nextcloud that I had to configure in order to get it to work, and I thought that was stupid and I hated it. So unless Nextcloud does something to build cron jobs into running automatically, like YeetFile has proven they can do, I can't see myself installing Nextcloud again until they do something that makes it better. Because in the meantime, it slowly just starts dying on itself. It's imploding because it's not doing its own maintenance, and I think it's stupid. So until they fix that, I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's see. I was thinking about getting a domain through them and using Nginx Proxy Manager with a domain through them, but might look into Pangolin. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think that's a great option. I actually did that for a long time. The problem with it was this. When you're using something like Nginx Proxy Manager and you're hosting it locally, and you do your port forward for ports 80 and 443, and you get all of that configured. If somebody pings your domain name, let's say you've got a public service for a website, right? Let's say somebody pings your domain name. It's going to return your home's IP address, which isn't a huge deal these days, because you can very often take that IP address and drop it into a, who is this? And it will very often give you something hundreds of miles away. A good chance that that's going to happen. But if they've got your IP address, they can still DDoS you. They can still try to get into your network if they've got your IP address. That's the problem that I had using Nginx Proxy Manager, was just port forwarding enabled. Now, there are things that you can do to get around that by having DNS challenges, because you have to have ports 80 and 443 forwarded from your modem and router to Nginx Proxy Manager in order for Nginx Proxy Manager to use Let's Encrypt to update your SSLs, unless you've got a DNS challenge enabled on your setup. So it can get very convoluted in order to do a lot of that stuff and make sure that you've got the most amount of security on your setup. Even going the Pangolin route and using a third-party VPS as the remote host is fine, but then you've also got to do some sort of lockdown on that VPS so that people can't get access to it without your permission. So there's always a game of cat and mouse, or chicken and egg, or whatever the case is, in order to make sure that you're the most secure while still being able to remotely access all of your stuff. I, for right now, am using Cloudflare tunnels for most everything, because I'm not uploading huge amounts of data. Like, I'm not I'm just not doing that. Like if I'm like my phone backs up automatically, but it's directly to the Synology NAS that's back there. So I'm not running that through Cloudflare tunnels. Sorry, just making sure I didn't miss anything there. If I were to be doing something like Nextcloud, God forbid, I would set up a different proxy option for that, and I might use Pangolin. But depending on the VPS provider that you've got and the package you've got with that VPS provider, they're also likely going to have data caps as far as bandwidth transfers and things like that. Like the instance that I've got set up on RackNerd gives me 2 terabytes, which is a massive amount of data, but it is still 2 terabytes. So if you're going to be moving a ton of data through a VPN to use Pangolin, you'll want to make sure that you've got a fairly beefy amount of bandwidth available to you if that is if that's what you're going to be using it for. So there's always something to consider there. Between, yeah, it looks like, yeah, and yeah, Till says I use a public VPN and put a WireGuard tunnel between, put NPM on the VM and you're Gucci. Yeah, that's basically what Cloudflare does, and that's basically what Pangolin does. It just simplifies that entire setup process for you. To such a degree, it blew my mind when I deployed it live on the stream a couple of weeks ago. I was genuinely blown away at how easy it was to get it to work. I genuinely didn't expect it to just work. I was completely flabbergasted at how quickly and easily everything was up and running by just running a couple of commands. It was about the simplest thing I could have done in the moment. I was really, really happy with it. So, let's see here. What's that? So, if you're on YouTube, it'd be amazing if you could give the video a thumbs up. That'd be super, super helpful. Of course, don't feel obligated. Just if you've enjoyed our time hanging out today, it'd be amazing if you gave the video a thumbs up. Somebody has given the video a thumbs down, which is their right. I don't expect everybody to like everything I put out, but one thing I've noticed is that there is someone out there, and I don't know who it is for obvious reasons. There is somebody out there who, without fail, dislikes all of my videos. And maybe it's a tinfoil hat theory, but there are very few of my videos that have 100% likes, right? Which again is fine. But like looking at my recent cut video, 159 likes, 1 dislike. Like there are just some of these that have like 1 dislike on them. And it amuses me that I have apparently upset somebody enough to go through and dislike each and every one of my videos. Yeah, like here's another one, Bite Stash, 274 likes, 1 dislike. Like, and a lot of my other videos have a lot of dislikes or several dislikes. Like my amnesia video about self-hosting a VPN, yeah, 34 dislikes, 600 likes, but 34 dislikes. But it's funny out there that somebody, that I've upset somebody enough that they have felt it necessary to go through every time I post a video and dislike it. Just it honestly it amuses me quite a bit. So you know, it is what it is, but just one of those random things. Let's see. Yep, good to know. Appreciate the info. Absolutely happy to help. I use Nextcloud 30.x and it works. Have not done more than just installing it through COS OS, etc. Yeah. DefGuard? What is DefGuard? I've never heard of DefGuard. What is the DefGuard? Oh, well, that's interesting. Let's take a look at that. That might be a video right there. secure remote access, WireGuard, two-factor multi-factor authentication, life cycling, identity and access management, OID, connect SSO. Wow. Trusted by, GitHub. Let's take a look at their GitHub. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that might be something to take a look at. DevGuard looks interesting. A zero trust access management with true WireGuard, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication. Yep, gonna have to definitely take a look at that. That looks really cool. I'm gonna find. I've got a notepad open somewhere. There it is. I'm gonna save that for later because that actually looks really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Ben, bash that like button. That's really funny. Brings true two-factor authentication. Depending on how they're doing it, they're still watching each video. Yeah, exactly. Like they're giving me engagement. Here, like the thing that I've heard is that YouTube doesn't care if it's likes or dislikes, it's engagement. Negative comments and positive comments are both comments, they're engagement. I don't know how much all of that is true. Nobody seems to actually know anything about how YouTube works. But what I've read is that thumbs up, thumbs down, it's all engagement, and YouTube doesn't care. So yeah, I agree. That at least they're watching it. So that's, that's something. So good on them for that. Yeah, definitely going to check out DevGuard. That actually looks really, really interesting. So I'll have to dig through that and see how that works. Can I do both? Oops. Can you do both what? Yeah, I keep giggling about that. Ben, bash that like button. That's really funny. I may steal that. I'll give credit, but I may steal that. That's pretty funny. Oh, can you give a thumbs up and a thumbs down? No. One overrides the other. I mean, look, you can do both, but whichever you do last will overwrite what you did first. So whatever your last button press is, that's what it was until you click the other thing. So I guess you could toggle between them if you wanted to during different parts of the video and see where you end up at the end. That might be fun. But yeah, no, they don't both count equally. So let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by that. Just seeing if there's anything else we should talk about, because somehow we've already blown past. We're almost at 3.5 hours here. Typically, I try to cut these off typically cut these off at about 3 hours, but yeah, so the honey method, last is the truth. Yeah, basically. So, oh, jeez. I'm actually just getting ready to wrap up here in a few minutes, but thank you. I see she brought me tea. She's awesome. That is more than tea. We've been fighting a bug here in the house over the last few days, so that's got a little extra kick in it that seems to be helping. So, in fact, it's honey flavored. What's in it? So that's good. Just seeing if there's anything else we should cover. Because again, I usually cut these off at about 3 hours, but I'm glad I didn't because we found out about DevGuard, and I'm definitely going to take a look at that. There's also a WireGuard desktop client. Wow. All right. Locations. Wow. Yep. Gonna have to look at that. That's pretty cool. So I think if nobody's got maybe sometime in the future when YouTube runs on quantum servers, it'll be possible to like and dislike. I mean, I've heard they've found that things can exist in more than one quantum state simultaneously. So maybe they can do both. Maybe instead of a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it's like meh. Maybe they should do a sideways thumb as well. Do you have? Let's see here. You should have a place to submit self-hosted app ideas. I 100% do. Thank you for bringing that up. I 100% suggest, hold on, I'm gonna put this in here. Suggest video ideas here. Yeah, go to videovote.dbtech.com. This place right here. I actually set it up a long time ago, and I need to clean it out. Like I genuinely need to clean it out and start over, I think. But it's a fighter instance, and that's how you can do that. So if you want to suggest something, or if you want to go through and see what other people are suggesting, I really should just come in here, clean this out, start over, because a lot of this stuff is old. Like this is more than a year old now. Like that's how Home Assistant videos for dummies. Again, that's a year ago. Trending view. Can I do view trending? Most recent. This was 4 months ago. I clarified, but never got any further updates on that. Updates on older videos from 4 months ago. Cloudflare Tunnel's access security. I've already done that. So anyway, I should absolutely. And here's the thing, right? With this, you can log in via Google or GitHub. I think you should still be able to do that, or you can put your email address in. It'll give you a token to log in with. It should still work. It worked as of 4 months ago, so I can't imagine why it wouldn't still. Let's just test it just to see. We should put an email address in there. Click sign in. Okay, we sent that. I'm going to do this just to make sure everything is still working. Because I think I need to promote it more, so that it will get more use. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. So that is working. And if I click that, administration site settings. Yeah. So yeah, in fact, here's the back end. Here's what you can see. And then we've got notifications up there from 4 months ago. What I need to do is clear this out. Basically, anything that's like a year old or older, I'll clear out. In fact, I'll just probably clear out everything, just for the sake of starting over. But yeah, if you guys are interested in suggesting videos, topics, that sort of thing, this is a great way to do it. Just this videovote.dbtech.com, and yeah, you can do that. My live schedule, tentatively, what I've been trying to do is Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Denver time, and Monday morning at like 10:15 Denver time. I think it's GMT minus 7 Mountain time. All kinds of different ways to differentiate that, but those are the times I'm trying to live stream, though I can't guarantee that everything's going to work. Let's see. Do you have it suggested? Yep, submit, and then upvote, downvote. Yep. Then promote it in your videos with a link in the description. I need to do that better. I never think about it. Like I just don't. I never really think about it. Hold on, let's do this. Let's sort this by recent. We're gonna come down to here, cost OS. Yeah, that's something that I put in there, so I'm just gonna delete. That's fine, delete. Is it gone? Yeah, we've actually talked about that. We're gonna delete. Or can I mark it as done? Is that an option? Edit? No. Cancel. Can I wonder. Nope. I thought there were options to respond that were like, not going to do this or whatever. Respond, open. Here, I'll just do this. I'll just put. You know what? Screw it. I apologize, guys. I'm just going to delete a bunch of this. Raspberry Pi Car Stereo. I already did that. Delete. And that sucks because that organization no longer exists. Like the company that I used for my Raspberry Pi, the company that I used for my Raspberry Pi Car Stereos doesn't exist anymore. They got bought out by another company, and they're not sure what they're going to do with the operating system. Yeah, I actually want to take a look at that one. Network including segregation of IP networks. Yeah, we're going to skip that. Delete. Let's see. Channel member. Sam, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you being here, chatting and whatnot. SPC's home lab automation. We've talked about a little bit. We're going to do that. Delete. I'll go through and delete the rest of this stuff later, but yeah, like I've already made this video a couple of times, so I'm just going to delete it. So anyway, yeah, so I will try to promote this more often. I'll add this to my link stack or whatever it's called, and we'll just kind of go from there. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's been 3.5 hours, which is longer than we normally go. Luckily, my awesome wife kept bringing me drinks, which was super helpful to keep me going. But I think I am going to wrap this up. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up just so that we can all kind of get on with our day. I need to get something to eat. I haven't had lunch yet, and I'm getting hungry. So, again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me over on Twitch if you haven't already. Hopefully this will be the 8th stream that I need to get my affiliate status over on Twitch, so I can start doing some different things over there. That would be very cool. Up to 199 followers over there. So yeah, go follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. Like and subscribe here if you haven't already. Links to everything are in the video descriptions. I guess that's it. I guess it covers everything. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out for a while with me today. Definitely appreciate that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'll talk to you guys next time.